Chapter 133 Chapter 133 Winning Hearts. Guobao returns home _3. 3 yuan for skilled labor? 2 yuan for unskilled labor? Wang Taienius' eyes widened in surprise. The average worker's salary was only 40 yuan a month at this point in time. Normally when he built houses for others, he only charged 1 yuan per day for skilled labor and 85 cents for unskilled labor. At Anai Yang's it was several times more. Of course, Wang Tiniu was not the type to take advantage of others. Moreover, as Anai Yang was just a young girl, he certainly couldn't take advantage of her. Yang, you don't need to pay this much. Just give the market rate. 1 yuan for skilled labor and 85 cents for unskilled labor, he said. Anai Yang smiled and said, no changes needed, but Uncle Tiniu, I have a request. Go on. Anai Yang continued. I hope all the renovation work can be done within a month. Wang Tiniu assured. Don't worry about it, there are so many of us. In fact, we can even get it done in half a month. It was only a 50 square meter shop, and there were 12 workers in total. As the saying goes, many hands make light work. Wang Taizhu was not boasting. So Anai Yang's request wasn't really a burden. There's no need to rush, Anai Yang continued. As long as it's completed within a month. I plan to open for business on the 2nd of next month. Wang Tiniu nodded. Alright, don't worry. Anai Yang added. Uncle Tiniu, do you know who in our village is the best at cooking? As a manly man, Wang Tiniu had no idea. Zhou Qingshang laughed and said, I know. Aunt Wang Jinfang makes amazing meals. Despite her differences with Aunt Jinfang, Zhou Qingshang spoke the truth. Aunt Jinfang indeed was a great cook. Anai Yang nodded and then said, let's get Aunt Jinfang too. Have her cook lunch at the construction site, and she will get the wages of an unskilled worker. Wang Tiniu felt a bit uncomfortable. Yang, your wages are already high enough. There's no need to provide lunch. Anai Yang laughed and said, Uncle Tiniu, you're all working hard and I can't let you go hungry. That's settled then. I'm putting my trust on you, Uncle Tiniu. Once you've made arrangements, meet me at the tram station in the city around noon tomorrow, or the day after. I'll take you to the shop. Now I'll be going. Zhou Qingshang and Wang Taizhu hurried to see Anai Yang off. Having seen off Anai Yang, Wang Taizhu returned to his house still in a daze. He asked Zhou Qingshang, wife, pinch me. Am I dreaming? Zhou Qingshang laughed and said, look at how delighted you are, you're not dreaming. Wang Tiniu sighed. Yang is the god of wealth in our village. Zhou Qingshang echoed. I knew early on that Yang would amount to something. Wang Tiniu counted the money Anai Yang left on the table. It totaled 930 yuan. 180 yuan for 2 skilled laborers. 600 yuan for 10 unskilled laborers. And 60 yuan for a cook. It must be said, Anai Yang had made some really sound and trusting arrangements. Since Anai Yang trusted him so much, he must live up to her trust. Wang Tiniu extracted his 90 yuan and handed it to Zhou Qingshang. You keep this. I'm off to find the others. Zhou Qingshang accepted the money, still somewhat dazed. In the past, Wang Tiniu had to labor for 3 months to earn just 90 yuan. Worst of all, finding consistent work for 3 consecutive months was not guaranteed. The most had ever brought back seemed to be just over 40 yuan. All of these changes stirred deep feelings of gratitude in Zhou Qingshang. With the money in hand, Wang Tiniu went door to door. After explaining the situation, the villagers were overjoyed and grinning ear to ear as they received the money. Given that it was the idle farming period, a sudden opportunity to work, especially with an immediate payment that was multitudes higher than the market rates, had them naturally elated. 60 yuan. A season of hard farming couldn't earn them that much. Anai Yang really was their village's lucky star. The last stop was Wang Jinfang's house. When he arrived, Wang Jinfang was feeding the chickens. Her husband Anai Fatsai, who couldn't do heavy work due to an early injury, was cooking in the kitchen. Seeing Wang Tiniu, Wang Jinfang warmly asked, Brother Tiniu, what brings you here? Chapter 134 Chapter 134 Winning Hearts. Guobao returns home _4. Despite Wang Jinfang's usually picky and stingy demeanor, she remained quite warm when dealing with acquaintances. Besides, she and Wang Tiniu were relatives. Wang Tiniu explained the situation with a smile. Shocked, Wang Jinfang asked, "Brother Tiniu, are you joking or being serious? Don't tease me." As Enai Fatsai was in poor health, Wang Jinfang was having a hard time making ends meet. So, the news of getting 60 yuan got her extremely excited. With that 60 yuan, their family could feast for the coming new year. However, she had spoken badly of Enai Yang behind her back. Would Enai Yang really ask her for help? She found it somewhat hard to believe. Wang Tiniu smiled and said, "Would I lie? Do you think I've nothing better to do? Here is your wage. If you're free, join us in the city tomorrow at noon." "Great. I'll be there." Wang Jinfang graciously took the money and thanked Tiniu profusely. Wang Tiniu continued, "You don't need to thank me. If anyone, thank Yang Yang." Wang Jinfang laughed, her eyes nearly disappearing from her joyous face. Right, I should thank Yang Yang. Thank Yang Yang. She had acted foolishly by misunderstanding Enai Yang. Lucky for her, Enai Yang was forgiving and didn't hold her past actions against her. Right now, apart from being grateful, Wang Jinfang deeply appreciated Enai Yang. Thinking about the harsh words she had spoken about Enai Yang before, she really regretted it. Teach her to talk behind others' backs. Teach her to be mean to others. If anyone dared to badmouth Enai Yang in the future, Wang Jinfang swore she'd give them a slap. When Enai Yang returned, Enai Tsuehua had washed and prepared all the vegetables. The fish and shrimp meat were finely chopped too. The beef bones were stewing in the pot, and the air was filled with their tempting aroma. Enai Yang rolled up her sleeves and began to prepare the hot pot base. Everyone in Jinghua village, from the elderly to toddlers as young as 3 years old, loved spicy food, so she didn't need to worry about making a mild hot pot for the children. However, she still prepared a non-spicy base, just in case any children couldn't handle the heat. The copper pot for the hot pot was layered, ideal for a double-flavor hot pot. After preparing the hot pot base, Enai Yang started making fish balls and shrimp slides. Having done it successfully once before, she made quicker progress this time. Fish balls and shrimp slides were not only a treat for the taste buds, but they also had high nutritional value and low cost, so Enai Yang made extra. The rest was the handling of beef and lamb. After prepping the hot pot ingredients, Enai Yang cooked 3 side dishes that were good for skin health and beauty. Additionally, she also prepared a big jar of chilled sour plum soup. The combination of piping hot pot and iced sour plum soup was simply perfect. Once all the dishes were on the table, Gooden and Yang Guobao brought all the children to the table. There were 15 children of different ages, the oldest being 13 and the youngest around 5 or 6 years old. Seeing so many children, Enai Yun laughed with joy. Little Enai Yun was fair and chubby, which attracted the kids' attention, and they all gathered around to play with her. After a short while, Enai Chinggui returned from work. At first, she was stunned to see the house filled with people, then laughed and said, "Enai Yang, are you throwing a party at home again?" Enai Yang replied, "Guobao is leaving tomorrow, we're having a farewell party. Auntie Enai, go wash your hands, and we can start eating." Enai Chinggui immediately went to wash her hands. The children were well behaved and took their seats around the table. The spicy red oil base, the fragrant white soup base, the boiling base teased their taste buds with its inviting aroma. And without even starting to cook the food in it, everyone already started salivating. Enai Chinggui walked in from the outside after washing her hands, and said with a smile, "Enjoy your meal, don't wait for me." Enai Yang distributed small plates of oil dipping sauce to each child and said, "Make yourselves at home. Here at Sister Enai Yang's, you can eat as much as you like." Everyone immediately dug in. Soon after, the air was filled with delightful exclamations. "This is delicious. Sister Enai Yang is so talented." Peng, who took a bite of the shrimp slide, turned to Enai Yang and said unclearly, "Sister Enai Yang, you're awesome. Your cooking is way better than my mom's." It's even better than my mom's cooking. Chapter 135 Winning Hearts. Guobao returns home _5. The boiling hot red chili oil in the pot accentuated the satisfied faces of the children. Observing this was enough for Enai Yang to feel satisfied, even if she herself didn't eat anything. and Ai Yang prepared many dishes that day, all of which were devoured completely. An hour later, the children all lied in their chairs, their bellies round and full, unwilling to move an inch. They had absolutely relished their meal. Even during the New Year, they had never enjoyed a meal this much. And Ai Yang prepared some lotus leaf cold tea for everyone to share. Sometimes, when children eat too much, it easily leads to indigestion. Lotus leaf tea has the effect of clearing heat, removing dampness, dispersing blood stasis, and improving digestion. After dinner, it was past 6 in the evening, and it wasn't completely dark yet. After thanking Ai Yang, children took advantage of the remaining daylight and headed home. As soon as Peng Hu arrived home, Wang Jinfeng picked him up. "Son, what delicious food did Sister Ai Yang cook for you tonight?" Peng Hu was slightly taken aback. Since when was his mother so courteous to Sister Ai Yang? Could it be that his threat in the afternoon had worked? After all, she didn't want her grandson to be born without an anus. Yes, that must be it. Peng Hu laughed and said, "Sister Ai Yang made hot pot tonight. I ate so much meat. Mom, look how full my belly is." As he said this, he lifted his shirt to show his belly to Wang Jinfeng. So they were having hot pot. No wonder it smelled so good. Ai Yang must indeed be a talented cook, otherwise, how could she manage a restaurant in the city? She used to judge others by herself, even thinking ill of Ai Yang. Whenever Wang Jinfeng thought about this, she was overwhelmed with regret. Seeing Wang Jinfeng lost in thought, Peng Hu continued, Mom, look at my belly. One tell you, Sister Ai Yang's food is even tastier than yours." Wang Jinfeng finally reacted, showering Pang's face with kisses. "My son is wonderful." Peng Hu was dumbfounded at being praised. Had he done something praiseworthy? A moment later, Wang Jinfeng put Peng Hu down and brought out eggs and pomegranates that had been stored at home for a long time. "Peng Hu, tomorrow you take these things to Sister Ai Yang. Make sure she accepts them, okay?" Although Wang Jinfeng can be a bit tricky, she reciprocates kindness with kindness. At this point, she already considered Ai Yang as one of her own. Peng Hu incredulously asked, "Mom, is this really for Sister Ai Yang?" He knew his mother to be stingy. The eggs she had saved were supposed to be sold. She would usually not even spare one for her precious son to eat. Yet, now she planned to give this whole basket of eggs to Ai Yang. Additionally, there were 2 large red pomegranates. These pomegranates were given stealthily by his grandmother during the last visit. She had given only 3. Peng Hu had eaten 1, and the remaining 2 were hidden away by Wang Jinfeng, to be eaten gradually. It was too incredible to be true. When had Wang Jinfeng become so generous? Seeing Pang's reaction, Wang Jinfeng asked with a smile, "What, you don't want to give these to Sister Ai Yang?" Peng Hu immediately shook his head. "Not at all. I want to give them to Sister Ai Yang." Afraid Wang Jinfeng would change her mind, he grabbed the basket and said, "I'll take them to Sister Ai Yang right now." Wang Jinfeng held Pang's hand. "It's dark now and unsafe, go in the daylight tomorrow. Don't worry, I will stand by my word and won't retract it." "Mom, are you serious?" Peng Hu asked suspiciously. "Of course I am." Wang Jinfeng nodded affirmatively. Still doubtful of Wang Jinfeng, Peng Hu held out his little finger with a solemn oath. "Then let's make a pinky promise. If you break your word, my son will be born without an anus." Wang Jinfeng laughed and lightly swatted Pang's head. "You little rascal. Always threatening your mom with that line." Immediately Peng Hu said earnestly, "Mom, make a promise." "Promise?" Wang Jinfeng extended her hand to make a pinky swear with him. In Ai Yang's place. Ai Yang is busy preparing pickled fish noodles and dinner for Grandma Mo. As tomorrow marks the last day of her noodle stall, Ai Yang is preparing over 800 servings of pickled vegetable noodles, 100 more than usual. She also prepared lots of small cards, which she had started preparing a couple of months ago. Since she has decided to move her noodle stall, she needs to lay out her plans in advance. Word of mouth is crucial amongst regular customers, otherwise, she would have to start building clientele from scratch. Chapter 136 Winning Hearts, Guobao returns home _6. These cards, in addition to offering discounts, also have the new shop's address written on them. All 500 cards were handwritten by Enai Yang, whose handwriting is very beautiful, so it looks like printed text. Today, Enai Yang prepared red bean cakes, pickled vegetable noodles, and steamed shrimp dumplings for breakfast for Mrs. Mo. Since the old lady hasn't had pickled vegetables for a long time, Enai Yang thought of giving her a different taste. No need to mention the taste of the shrimp dumplings. Moreover, shrimp meat is rich in nutrients and can supply calcium. Red beans have the functions of moistening the intestines and relieving constipation, lowering blood pressure, reducing blood lipids, regulating blood sugar, detoxifying, preventing cancer, and preventing stones. It's a very good ingredient for the elderly. The combination of red beans and glutinous rice is irresistible. It tastes sticky, sweet but not greasy, refreshing and easy to digest, making you want to take another bite after tasting the first. After finalizing the menu, Enai Yang began preparing the ingredients. The next day, Enai Yang set up her noodle stall on the snack street as usual. When she told everyone that she would no longer be selling noodles the next morning, a look of disappointment appeared on everyone's faces. "Boss, why are you not selling these delicious noodles anymore?" "My son is a picky eater. Without these pickled vegetable noodles, he wouldn't eat." "Boss, will you still sell in the future? Or just not coming tomorrow morning?" Enai Yang smiled and said, "Rest assured, everyone, I'm not stopping sales, but I will reopen a month later. The new shop address is across from the Wuxia library. You all are regular customers. I'll give each of you a card. There's a discount of 5 cents a bowl on the opening day. Plus, you get a cup of sour plum soup." "A discount of 5 cents and a free sour plum soup? The discount is actually so huge." Upon hearing this news, the crowd exploded. "I want one." "Me too." Enai Yang smiled and said, "Everyone, don't worry, we have 500 cards. Everyone present will get one." Upon hearing this, the crowd calmed down and began to line up in order. However, the customers who received cards later naturally ran out. Customers who didn't receive a card all sighed with regret. Then Enai Yang continued, "Don't worry if you didn't get a card. Anyone who eats noodles on the opening day can get a free cup of sour plum soup. A cup of sour plum soup also costs a cent." Upon hearing this, everyone's mood improved a lot. Although Enai Yang prepared more than 800 soup noodles today, they sold out before 11 o'clock as usual. After all, she came early. The first bowl had been sold at 5:30. When Li Gongqing came, Enai Yang told him that she would not be selling here tomorrow. Upon hearing this, Li Gongqing was surprised. What about the old lattice meals? And what about him? He had now gotten used to days with pickled fish noodles. He felt anxious whenever he couldn't eat them. Enai Yang continued, "I will prepare the old lattice meals every morning, ask the renovation workers to bring them over, and then you can trouble to pick them up." "It's not a hassle," Li Gongqing scratched his head. "Xiaoni, are you sure your new shop will not be open until the 2nd of next month? Can't it be earlier?" Enai Yang shook her head. "It may not be possible. There need to be renovations, purchasing tables and chairs, etc." Li Gongqing sighed in disappointment. What should he do? Enai Yang smiled and said, "If you like pickled fish noodles, I can cook a portion for you every morning and keep it in the thermos. When you pick up the elderly woman's meals, you can pick it up at the same time." Upon hearing this, Li Gongqing's eyes lit up. "Great, great! Xiaoni, you are really smart." With that, Li Gongqing took out a yuan note and handed it to Enai Yang. "Then he'll pay for a month's noodles in advance." Enai Yang reached out her hand to receive it, and gave Li Gongqing a yuan as change. After packing up her stall, Enai Yang first sent the tables and chairs to the shop, then rode her bicycle to the tram station. When Enai Yang arrived, Wang Tiniu, Wang Jinfang, and the other villagers of Jinghua village had also just arrived. "Uncle Tiniu, Aunt Jinfang and uncles, hello." Enai Yang greeted them politely. Everyone responded warmly. When Wang Jinfang saw Enai Yang, she felt a little embarrassed. She had assumed that Enai Yang would have at least said a few sarcastic remarks about her since she had spoken many ill words about Enai Yang before. However, Enai Yang was courteous from beginning to end and didn't put on any airs. For a moment, Wang Jinfang's impression of Enai Yang improved even more. Chapter 137 Winning Hearts. Guobao returns home 7 and Ai Yin took them to the shop, then went to the vegetable market to buy some vegetables for Wang Jinfeng. The vegetables were from her own home, but the tofu and pork were bought from the market. Ai's people all did manual work, how could they not eat meat? Although there wasn't much meat, just a bit over 2 pounds, it was enough to satisfy everyone's craving. After all, at this time, they could only eat a few pieces of meat during the new year. Wang Jinfeng's cooking skills were excellent, and in no time, the smell of fried meat filled the whole house. Smelling the fragrance of the meat and thinking about the wages given by Ai Yin, everyone was instantly filled with energy. After Wang Jinfeng finished cooking, there was not much work in the afternoon. Although Ai Yin only asked her to cook, she didn't leave early. Instead, she helped everyone with tools and carried buckets of mud, doing some laborer's work. After all, Ai Yin paid her 2 yuan a day. Plus she ate meat at noon. She had to earn her money and the meat she ate at noon. Wang Jinfeng couldn't be a person with no conscience. After leaving the shop, Ai Yin did not go home, but rode her bike to the local bureau to apply for a business license. In addition to the business license, she also had to apply for a health permit and a food circulation permit. After all, she wanted to be a qualified individual operator. The efficiency of the bureau was very high, and Ai Yin completed all the certificates by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. After the certificate, Ai Yin went to the vegetable market again. Since she didn't need to set up a stall to sell noodles tomorrow, she didn't buy fish, but bought a little less than 200 pounds of greens. After all, once the shop opens, the daily sales volume will be higher than when she set up the stall, so she needs to prepare pickles. She can't run out of stock. The vegetable vendor recognized Ai Yin, and not only gave her a discount of 5 cents, but also gave her a pound of peas. Because it was not the right season, so peas were very scarce and expensive at this time. It can be seen that the vegetable vendor had a long-term vision. He knew that Ai Yin was a potential customer. After buying vegetables, Ai Yin happened to pass by Li Dongliang's small shop. Qian Jinfeng had been standing at the door waiting for Ai Yin all morning. When she saw Ai Yin, her eyes lit up. Yang, over here. Ai Yin slowly stopped the car. Aunt Qian. Qian Jinfeng smiled and said, Yang, why did you finish the stall so late today? Ai Yin said, I went to the vegetable market. Qian Jinfeng nodded, then said, Yang, didn't we talk about raising the rent a few days ago? I originally told you it was 2 yuan a month, but after thinking about it, I felt that 2 yuan was a bit too little. After all, you make that much money in a day, you can't let me watch you eat meat, right? After all, if you didn't have my shop to store your things, you wouldn't be able to earn as much money. Qian Jinfeng talked a lot. The point was that Ai Yin was able to earn money because of their house. Ai Yin smiled faintly, directly interrupted Qian Jinfeng. So, what are you implying, Auntie? Qian Jinfeng licked her lips. What I mean is, I want to raise the rent to 300. After thinking about it for a while, Qian Jinfeng decided that at least 300 yuan in rent was most appropriate. After all, Ai Yin could earn 300 a day. 300 yuan was nothing to Ai Yin. 300, huh? Ai Yin asked with a smile. Yes. Qian Jinfeng nodded eagerly. Ai Yin is still looking cheerful, her attractive peach blossom eyes shining like stars, and the corner of her mouth curled up in a light smile. But the words she said made Qian Jinfeng almost die of anger. She said in a clear and slow tone, Auntie, why don't you rob someone? Qian Jinfeng replied angrily, Is 300 too much? If we weren't renting you a place, could you earn as much money as you do? 300 it is. Not a cent less. If you don't rent, there are plenty others who will. This she-devil Ai Yin went too far. She earned 300 yuan a day, but now she doesn't even want to spend 300 yuan on rent. Ai Yin smiled lightly. Auntie, then you should rent it to someone else. What? Qian Jinfeng looked at Ai Yin in disbelief. Was Ai Yin not renting it? No, Ai Yin, what do you mean? Ai Yin continued. Since your corner is in high demand, I'll give it to others. I have business to attend to, goodbye. She's leaving? Ai Yin just left like that? Qian Jinfeng then remembered that Ai Yin hadn't brought any tables and chairs over today. Qian Jinfeng panicked and yelled. "And I Yan? Do you mean you're not renting it?" And I Yan's voice floated back with the wind. "Yes, not renting." "Not renting?" Qian Jinfeng panicked, and her legs went soft. Watching An I Yan getting further away, she shouted anxiously, "Yang Yang, don't leave. If you think it's too expensive, I'll take 200 from you. If it really doesn't work, 100 is also fine. 50, 30, 20. But An I Yan showed no sign of turning back. Qian Jinfeng stamped her foot and nearly cried. Even 10 would be fine. But all that responded to her was a gentle breeze. People always want more than they can have. Li Wei walked over. "Mom, I told you a long time ago, An I Yan is not a fool. She will not let others slaughter her." 300. Even her own son wanted to scold Qian Jinfeng when he heard the number. Let alone An I Yan. Qian Jinfeng said angrily, "You always take sides against your mother. Just wait and see. That fox An I Yan will definitely come back and beg me. Unless she doesn't want to do business anymore. By then, don't say 300. One won't rent to her even if she offers 600. Li Wei said. What if An I Yan has already found another place? Mom, don't forget, we are not the only ones who run a shop on this street. And An I Yan was just storing some tables and chairs, and it didn't take up much space. A rent of 1 yuan a month is already quite high. Upon hearing these words, Qian Jinfeng drooped completely. Yeah. Why didn't she think about these things? Wang Meifeng took Yang Guobao back to the city. When Yang Changzheng was about to open the door after hearing the knock on the courtyard, Zhou Suhua stopped him. Wait, let me see who it is first. When she lifted the curtain and saw Wang Meifeng leading Yang Guobao, Zhou Suhua's face immediately sank. No one is allowed to open the door today. I must make Wang Meifeng admit her mistake. Zhou Suhua sat on the sofa in the living room, angry. I told her long ago that the 3-0 barefoot doctor in the countryside was no good. She didn't listen to me. Now there's a problem. She knows to come back, huh? What was she doing before? Chapter 138 Making Skincare Products. Visiting to say thanks. Zhou Suhua was on the brink of being enraged to death by Wang Meifeng. What a wasteful woman. Even though she went to college, she was fooled by a naive girl. This is a total disgrace to her. Is the divine doctor inferior to a naive girl? The more Zhou Suhua thinks about it, the angrier she gets. Torn between his wife and his mother, Yang Changzheng is caught in a dilemma. Mom, now that Meifeng has realized her mistake, please forgive her. Realized her mistake? Zhou Suhua snorts coldly. Does she look like she's sorry? First, she wants to leave without saying a word, and now she wants to come back just like that. Does she think our Yang family's doors are that easily accessible? This time, if one don't make her suffer a little, she will never understand who is the mother-in-law and who is the wife. Saying this, Zhou Suhua's eyes suddenly teared up. Poor little Guobao, such an innocent child, suffered for 3 whole months with her mother out there. Guobao's health was already bad, yet he was tormented by Wang Meifeng. Without a doubt, young Guobao's condition has now worsened. Hence Wang Meifeng must have brought Yang Guobao back home. Yang Changzheng sighed. For Guobao's sake, could you bear to see him standing outside? Yang Guobao is the eldest grandson of the Yang family. Of course Zhou Suhua couldn't bear it. Yet she was just so angry. Every time she thought about Wang Meifeng not listening to her elders, she became even angrier. She is Guobao's grandmother. Would she harm Guobao? If it weren't for Wang Meifeng's stubbornness, would Guobao have to go through all this sufferings? Zhou Suhua picked up her cup and sipped some tea. Let's wait a bit more. Standing outside for a while won't kill them. Seeing his mother like this, Yang Changzheng was upset, pacing back and forth in the room, wanting to go open the door, but not daring to do so. Outside, Yang Guobao was peeping towards the inside, anxiously saying, Mom, why is no one opening the door? Is Grandma not at home? Wang Meifeng knew her mother-in-law's temper. She brushed Yang Guobao's small head. Let's wait a bit more. Grandma will come and open the door for us soon. Okay. Yang Guobao nodded. Mother and son waited outside for 10 more minutes. Still no one came to open the door. Some acquaintances passed by, called out. Meifeng's back. What's the matter? No one at home or you're being denied entry? Wang Meifeng's mother-in-law was notoriously dominating. And this time Wang Meifeng was in the wrong too. She was wrong to take Yang Guobao away regardless of anyone else's opinion. Wang Meifeng smiled and said, I think there's no one home. 111 Wait a bit more. The acquaintance carried on. How is Guobao now? Is he better? Wang Meifeng nodded. Guobao is healed now. Yang Guobao immediately puffed up his chest. That's right, Aunt Zhou, am all healed now. Upon hearing this, Aunt Zhou looked at Yang Guobao in astonishment. Really? Not fooling me? Wang Meifeng replied. How could one possibly deceive you about such a thing? There are only two things in the world that you can't hide. One is poverty. The other is sickness. Aunt Zhou carefully looked at Guobao's little face. Guobao used to always be ill, so his face was pale and dull, looking like a sickly child. But now Guobao looked indeed different. Not only has his little face turned rosy, but his big shiny eyes, like a kitten's, exuded vitality. Who would consider him a sick child now? My goodness! Aunt Zhou couldn't help exclaiming. That barefoot doctor really is something, so talented. A disease that doctors in the city couldn't cure was healed by a barefoot doctor. If she didn't see it with her own eyes, Aunt Zhou wouldn't have believed it. Yang Guobao patted his chest. Exactly, my sister and I. Yang is really great. He indeed looked happier than when Aunt Zhou was praising him. Aunt Zhou said again, Meifeng, I heard from your mother-in-law that the barefoot doctor is just a teenage girl. Is this true? Wang Meifeng nodded. It's true, Yang is just 17 years old this year, but her medical skills are outstanding. Without her, Guobao wouldn't be here today. Hearing this, Aunt Zhou was filled with admiration. What a marvel! Meifeng, it was your good fortune to meet this little doctor. You must remember to thank her appropriately. Yes, Wang Meifeng continued. Don't worry, one will. Because the conversation was across a courtyard, Zhou Suhua didn't hear it very clearly. She could only vaguely make out Divine Doctor. Chapter 139 Making Skincare Products. Door-to-door gratitude _2. A Divine Doctor? Could it be that Yang Guobao is really fine now? But on the other hand, where in the world are there so many divine doctors? Even Dr. Wang, the imperial physician, does not dare to call himself a divine doctor. It must be Wang Meifeng trying to find a way to get herself in. Mom! Yang Changjing looked at Zhou Suhua again. Can I go open the door now? It's been 15 minutes. Go ahead, Zhou Suhua continued. But it's not because of Wang Meifeng. I'm only opening the door because of my great-grandson. And let me tell you this, if Wang Meifeng doesn't apologize for what she did to my great-grandson, I won't let her off the hook. All right. Grateful as if he just received a pardon, Yang Changjing ran out to open the door. As soon as Yang Changjing opened the gate, Yang Guobao, like a monkey, jumped on him. Dad, I missed you so much. Yang Guobao, who used to be sickly, was never this lively or energetic. Yang Changjing was stunned. Guobao, you? Yang Guobao excitedly said. Dad, I'm better. No one will call me sickly again. Really better? Yang Changjing tilted his head to look at Wang Meifeng. Wang Meifeng nodded. Yang Changjing shouted excitedly, hugging Yang Guobao and running toward the house. Mom! Guobao is better. Guobao is better. Zhou Suhua stood up inside the house, her eyes filled with tears. Better? Is her great-grandson really better? Mom! Guobao is better. Yang Changjing, holding Yang Guobao, rushed into the house and stood in front of Zhou Suhua. Zhou Suhua croaked out. Is he really better? Grandma, I really am better. Yang Changjing slapped his chest. Look at how strong I am, like a little calf. 3 months had passed, and Yang Guobao had not only grown taller, but he also got stronger, no longer skinny and frail like before. Zhou Suhua stretched out her hands, her voice trembling. Come, let grandmother hug you. Yang Guobao reached out and threw himself into his grandmother's arms. Yang Guobao used to weigh only 30 pounds at 7 years old, light as a feather when lifting him, but now he was heavy. Wang Meifeng said from the side. Mom, don't worry, Guobao is really better. He hasn't had an episode for over 2 months while staying at my mom's house. And Yang also checked him and said that Guobao will have a healthy body just like a normal child in the future. Could such a young girl really be that capable? Zhou Suhua was still a little uneasy. We should take Guobao to Dr. Wang for a checkup. What if that girl had used some forbidden drugs to create the illusion that Yang Guobao was temporarily okay? Wang Meifeng knew her mother-in-law's temperament and what she was worried about. Ni Yang was indeed competent, and they were not afraid of getting checked again. Mom, if you're not at ease, let's go to Dr. Wang. Zhou Suhua held Yang Guobao and said, let's go now. Yang Changjing found the car keys, and the family of four hurriedly left the house. The car was fast, and they quickly arrived at Dr. Wang's private clinic. Since it was the afternoon, there were not many people at Dr. Wang's place. Seeing Wang Meifeng and Zhou Suhua come in, Dr. Wang stroked his small goatee, helplessly saying, I have already told you epilepsy has no cure. It can only be alleviated. Why are you here again? Isn't this a waste of time? From ancient times to the present, there has never been a case of an epilepsy patient fully recovering. Upon hearing his words, Zhou Suhua's heart sank. She was even more convinced that Ni Yin had fed a banned drug to Yang Guobao. Wang Meifeng, if something bad happens to my grandson today, I won't let you get away with it. Yang Guobao hugged Zhou Suhua's neck. Grandma, you can't yell at Mom like this. I'm really better. Dr. Wang sighed and shook his head helplessly. Wang Meifeng wasn't angry and instead smiled. There's always someone better out there, Dr. Wang. Just because you couldn't cure the disease doesn't mean others can't. Dr. Wang was thoroughly infuriated. Ridiculous. My grandfather was once an imperial physician. Imperial physicians are the ones who treated the emperor. If my grandfather couldn't cure epilepsy, could a country bumpkin do it? Wang Meifeng said with a smile. Just because of these conservative people, the Qing dynasty ended up collapsing. If your grandfather had been a little more modest, perhaps you would still be an imperial physician. Dr. Wang was so angry that his beard was bristling. Nonsense. Chapter 140 Making Skincare Products. Home Visit to Express Gratitude _3. Wang Meifeng smiled and said, whether it's nonsense or a miracle, Dr. Wang will know once he examines Guobao. Dr. Wang took a seat on the chair and gestured towards Yang Guobao. Come here, young man. Yang Guobao sat opposite Dr. Wang and extended his hand. Dr. Wang began to take his pulse. The atmosphere became tense as Dr. Wang's eyebrows furrowed deeper and deeper, a look of disbelief in his eyes. Impossible. This can't be possible. How could there be someone in the world who can cure epilepsy? Zhou Suhua, standing on the side, nervously wiped her tears. Dr. Wang, is Guobao all right? Dr. Wang didn't speak, he just gave Zhou Suhua a look asking her to stay quiet. Seeing this, Zhou Suhua became even more nervous. Was Yang Guobao beyond help? If that was the case, she was ready to fight Wang Meifeng till the end. To be certain his diagnosis was not flawed, Dr. Wang checked several times before looking up at Wang Meifeng. Can you show me your medicinal prescription from last time? Wang Meifeng nodded and took out her prescription from her bag. After looking for a long time, he found nothing unusual. This prescription, in his view, contained only common ingredients. At most it could be used as a supplement. How could it have the effect of curing epilepsy? Dr. Wang took a deep breath. Looking at Wang Meifeng, he steadied his voice. Are you sure your child wasn't taking any other medicine while he was taking this? Wang Meifeng nodded. I am sure. She personally brewed the medicine. How could there be a mistake? Amazing. Truly amazing, exclaimed Dr. Wang. The ancient medicine of China is truly miraculous. Zhou Suhua blinked, then asked, Dr. Wang, what do you mean? Dr. Wang looked at Zhou Suhua and said, Congratulations to you all. Guobao in your family has been completely cured. He will never have a seizure again. What? Cured? Really cured? Dr. Wang, are you serious? Zhou Suhua nearly thought she was hallucinating. Dr. Wang, looking somewhat annoyed, said, Although I, Wang, am not as skilled as some, I've never lied. If it wasn't for seeing it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed that there was a cure for epilepsy. It seemed there really were people beyond people, and sky beyond sky. Zhou Suhua was overcome with joy, crying as she hugged Yang Guobao, unable to form a single word. Yang Guobao patted Zhou Suhua on the back, comforting her. Grandma, be good, don't cry. Dr. Wang looked towards Wang Meifeng. Comrade, Could you introduce me to the young divine doctor who cured Guobao? I have some medical questions I would like to ask. Dr. Wang was not a blindly arrogant man. Facing a truly skilled doctor, he sincerely wanted to learn and improve his own medical skills. Wang Meifeng smiled and said, I can't make the decision on her behalf. When I get the chance, I'll ask her for you. This matter still had to be agreed upon by Enai Yang. Otherwise, what would it mean to bring Dr. Wang to Enai Yang's home uninvited? Wang Meifeng was not someone who was inconsiderate. Dr. Wang nodded, expressing his understanding. Then what's your phone number? I'll make a note of it. Wang Meifeng wrote her number down for Dr. Wang. After leaving Dr. Wang's clinic, Zhou Suhua was still tear-streaked. She had never imagined that Yang Guobao's disease would truly be cured. Yang Guobao was 7 years old this year. He had been sick for 7 long years, sometimes even falling ill twice a day when it was severe. Because of this, although he was the age to begin school, Yang Guobao had yet to make it. He also didn't have any friends willing to play with him, except for Mo Hudi, who shared the same affliction. As his grandmother, Zhou Suhua was heartbroken every time she thought of these things. Mom, stop crying. The storm is over now, Wang Meifeng comforted. She knew her mother-in-law's temper, and she knew Wang Meifeng was angry, because she was worried about Yang Guobao. Zhou Suhua hugged Wang Meifeng, her voice choked with emotion. I'm sorry, Meifeng. I'm sorry for how I treated you and Guobao. If Wang Meifeng had not insisted on taking Yang Guobao for treatment in the countryside, they would have missed the opportunity for his recovery. Speaking of recovery, it really was like a rebirth. This was a new life for Yang Guobao. Every time Zhou Suhua thought about what could have happened if Wang Meifeng had capitulated to her, she felt a wave of fear. Chapter 141 Making Skincare Products, Door-to-Door Appreciation _4. Thankfully, none of that happened. Thankfully. It was her being too domineering. It was her who had wronged Wang Meifeng and her son. Her domineering nature nearly caused the death of Yang Guobao. I've been a wicked mother-in-law, Meifeng. I'm sorry. I won't be like this anymore. Mom, it's all right, Wang Meifeng continued. I don't blame you. You don't have to speak ill of yourself. Hearing Wang Meifeng say this, Zhou Suhua was moved beyond words. She never thought her daughter-in-law could forgive her. At the moment, her guilt became even deeper. Meifeng, thank you. Zhou Suhua held Wang Meifeng's hand, shedding tears of gratitude. Thank you for forgiving me. Yang Changjing said from the side. Meifeng, me too. I need to apologize to you. I'm not a good father. I failed you and our son. If Wang Meifeng were as weak as him, then Yang Guobao would have been truly hopeless. Thinking about this, Yang Changjing fell into endless self-reproach. You really aren't a good father. Wang Meifeng looked up at Yang Changjing. Guobao and I were in the countryside for so long. Did you visit us once? Write us a letter? Make a single phone call? Ask yourself, what kind of husband are you? What kind of father are you? Her husband was good at everything, but he listened to his mother too much. Whatever Zhou Suhua said, Yang Changjing didn't dare to oppose. All decisions, big and small, were made by Zhou Suhua. Wang Meifeng wasn't he someone to be bullied easily. She could let things slide with her mother-in-law, as a senior, but not with her husband. She had to use this opportunity to make Yang Changjing reflect. Hearing this, Yang Changjing hung his head even lower. Zhou Suhua spoke tearfully. Meifeng, don't blame Changjing, it's all my fault. I stopped Changjing from visiting you. Wang Meifeng continued. Mom, don't interfere in this. Changjing is 30 years old, not 3. He should have grown up long ago, and be capable of making independent decisions. He can't rely on you for his whole life. What if one day you're not here anymore? Who's he going to rely on then? Upon hearing these words, Zhou Suhua immediately hung her head in shame. Their son was already a married man. She really shouldn't interfere so much. She should give her son and daughter-in-law their own space. With a stern face, Wang Meifeng warned. Yang Changjing, if you continue like this, we should stop living together. Hearing this, Zhou Suhua was about to intervene, but recalling Wang Meifeng's words, she shut her mouth. She would never interfere in her son and daughter-in-law's matters again. Yang Changjing immediately held up 3 fingers, promising, Meifeng, rest assured, I won't do that anymore. From now on, You'll be in charge at home. I will listen to you, and I swear, if you say go east, I will never go west. Wang Meifeng's expression softened a bit. Let's see how you perform. Finally, Yang Changjung sighed with relief. So Meifeng, you forgive me? I already told you it depends on your performance, Wang Meifeng continued. Let's go home now. Yang Changjung nodded. The four of them got into the car. When the car arrived at a big mall, Zhou Suhua said, Changjung, stop for a moment. What's the matter, Mom? Yang Changjung looked back. Do you need to buy something? Zhou Suhua continued. Thanks to the young divine Dr. Enai Yang, Guobao is now healed. We can't forget our benefactor. Tomorrow, let's go to Jinghua village personally to thank the young divine Dr. Enai Yang. Right now, Zhou Suhua was most grateful to Enai Yang. She even changed her nickname from the Barefoot Doctor to the young divine Dr. Enai Yang. Okay. Wang Meifeng nodded in agreement. You're always so thoughtful, Mom. The four of them went into the mall. Because Enai Yang had saved Yang Guobao, Zhou Suhua was not worried about spending money. She chose expensive items including fruit and nutritional supplements. Upon learning that Enai Yang had a little sister who was just over 3 months old, Zhou Suhua spent 980 yuan and bought 2 small gold bracelets and a longevity lock. In addition, Zhou Suhua also bought quite a few things for Guobao's grandparents. It's worth noting that Zhou Suhua used to look down on villages in the past and never treated Guobao's grandparents as if they were her own family. In Zhou Suhua's eyes, she always thought that Wang Meifeng marrying Yang Changjung was marrying above her station. But that would not be the case anymore. From now on, she will strive to be a good mother-in-law, good grandmother. Noticing the change in her mother-in-law, Wang Meifeng suddenly felt that all the grievances she suffered in the past were nothing. The Enai family's courtyard. Enai Yang and Enai Tsuehua were sitting by the well, washing vegetables and chatting. Chapter 142 Making Skincare Products. Home Visit to Thank _5. Little Enai Yun lay in her cradle nearby, holding a rattle and a little yellow duck, playing on her own, neither crying nor being troublesome, behaving very well. The courtyard seemed incredibly warm and cozy. The task of washing 200 pounds of vegetables was time-consuming. By the time Enai Yang finished washing and salting the vegetables, it was already past 5 in the afternoon, and the sun began its descent. Enai Yang then started preparing dinner. When she saw the green peas the boss had given her while buying vegetables earlier, she suddenly had an idea. First she peeled off the peas, scooped up 2 ladles of glutinous rice, washed them and soaked them in a casserole. Then, Enai Yang found the cured meat she had bought a few days ago, cut them into pieces, and sautéed them in a pan. She then added green onions, ginger, garlic, and soy sauce to enhance the flavor, followed by adding the peas and stir-frying them together. Once they were about 70% cooked, she scooped the sautéed cured meat and peas into the casserole with the rice, and finally stove-cooked it to make a rice casserole. This is known as cured meat and green peas casserole rice, a variation of the traditional clay pot rice. After the main course was prepared, Enai Yang began to prepare side dishes. She pulled out the menu. Tonight's main dishes were 1. Stir-fried spicy bamboo shoots. Compendium of Materia Medica states, bamboo shoots are mainly used to quench thirst and benefit the urinary tract. Bamboo shoots can reduce intestinal cholesterol absorption, lower blood lipids, prevent constipation, and effectively eliminate waste and toxins from the body. They are excellent weight loss foods that can effectively maintain perfect body shape. They had eaten a lot of meat these past few days. It's just right to have bamboo shoots to control body shape and prevent weight gain. Beef bone marrow stewed egg. The eggs were those sent by Penghu in the morning, and the beef bone marrow was from the big beef bones Enai Yang bought at the vegetable market yesterday, which were filled with marrow. Compendium of Materia Medica states, beef bone marrow moisturizes the lungs, nourishes the kidneys, moisturizes the skin, and brightens the complexion. Therefore, beef bone marrow can effectively moisturize the skin. After deciding on the 2 main dishes, she only needed to make a soup. When she saw the tofu that Tai Dawn mother had sent over, Enai Yang suddenly thought of vegetable tofu soup. Yes, she decided to make a vegetable tofu soup. Enai Yang immediately rolled up her sleeves and started cooking. The night gradually darkened, and the fragrance in the small kitchen became stronger. In no time, the perfect set of 2 dishes and a soup was ready, and together with the glutinous rice cooked with cured meat and peas, there was more than enough for the 3 of them. Due to the addition of cured meat and peas, the glutinous rice was very delicious. Biting into it, it was soft and sticky, and when you bit into a pea, there was a burst of flavor making it extremely delicious. The vegetable tofu soup balanced out the greasiness of the glutinous rice, so delicious it made one question life. Enai Chingui exclaimed, "Yang Yang, how many delicious foods can you cook?" She felt that every dish Enai Yang cooked every day was different, and each dish was staggering in its taste. Even a simple vegetable tofu soup tasted extraordinarily delicious when Enai Yang cooked it. Enai Yang just smiled. "Actually, I'm only cooking what I know how to cook." Enai Chingui said, "Yang Yang, I suspect you can cook a Manchu Han imperial feast, but I have no evidence." Enai Yang laughed lightly. No, I just know a little bit more than most people." Enai Chingui laughed and said, "Yang Yang, you are just too modest." Enai Yang held up a piece of bamboo shoot. "Modesty is a virtue." Enai Tsuehua jokingly said from the side, "Sister Chingui, don't praise this girl anymore. If you continue to praise her, her little tail will rise to the sky." After dinner, Enai Yang returned to her room and counted the money she had left. Excluding the 25,400 yuan used to buy the shop, the 930 paid to the workers, and the everyday expenses of the last few days, she had 2,550 yuan in total. With 2,550 yuan, besides not being able to buy big items like a fridge or a color TV, she had more than enough to equip her business with the other necessities. Therefore, she was not in a hurry to make money at the moment, planning to spend this month on recuperation and recharge. When the new shop opens, there will be plenty to do. Moreover, she did not expect to make a living solely from selling noodles. Enai Yang has big ambitions, having lived for 2 lifetimes. She either does not do something, or does it to the best. She will blaze a trail and create a golden era that belongs to Enai Yang. That night, Enai Yang probably had the best sleep since her rebirth. She slept until past 6 in the morning, never getting up at 3 in the morning anymore, unlike her old routine when she had to get up to set up her stall. Meanwhile, Enai Daju and Lu Wan woke up early and took a rare day off. Chapter 143, Making Skincare Products. Home Visit to Give Thanks _6. Because today marks the beginning of a new month, it meant that the stall Enai Yang had been renting was now theirs. If Enai Yang wanted to continue her business, she would have to scheme it out of them. All the way there, the smiles never left the faces of the family of 3. Daju, what do you think that bitch Enai Yang's face will look like when she sees us? Enai Daju proudly replied. She must be shocked, and then beg us on her knees to give her stall back. Give it back to her? Lu Wan scoffed. On what grounds should we return it to her? We are the owners of this stall now. How dare she try and take it away from me? Remember, be tough with her. Make that bitch hand over all her money. If not, tell her to drop dead and disappear. Enai Yang was now destined to be as helpless as a piece of meat on a chopping board. Think she could escape? No way. A lowly bitch from the countryside. Does she think she can turn the tide? Enai Daju nodded in agreement. Don't worry, Wan. I won't mess this up. Lu Wan began to instruct Lu Xiangxiang again. Xiangxiang, remember to be smart when that bitch hands over the money. Make sure not to collect the wrong amount. I've checked already. The pickled fish noodles go for 3 cents a bowl, and the sour plum soup for 1 cent a bowl. Unusually, Lu Xiangxiang didn't argue with Lu Wan. Instead, she obediently said, I've got it, Mom. Don't worry. I won't make a mistake. Do you think I don't put my education to use? Lu Wan nodded in satisfaction. That's my girl. So much better than that bitch. Indeed, Lu Xiangxiang raised her chin proudly and said disdainfully, what does that bumpkin Enai Yang have that can match up to me? Besides being somewhat attractive, Enai Yang was worth nothing. And her, she was going to college. The family of 3 arrived at Enai Yang's usual business spot. But strangely, the stall was vacant. There were no signs of Enai Yang, let alone any people lining up for noodles. That was unexpected. Lu Wan had secretly observed that usually around 5:30, People would start lining up. It was already 5:40. Why was there not a single person in line? Did everyone else wake up late? Luwan frowned. Enaideju didn't take note of these details. He just sat in the middle of the stall, ready to assert his authority over Enai at any moment. Did that bitch think she could outsmart him, her uncle? Ha! Bet she's in for a surprise. No matter what, he would always be her uncle. Luwan walked over to Enaideju and shared her observations with him. Hearing this, Enaideju said casually, "What's there to worry about? Do you really think that bitch Enai is good at business and has customers every day? Let's wait a bit longer. Maybe the bitch will show up soon." What Enaideju said wasn't unreasonable, so Luwan nodded in agreement. With each passing minute, it was now past 6 o'clock, but there was still no sign of Enai. Lu Xiangxiang was restless, pacing in circles. "Mom, Dad, do you think it's possible that the hillbilly Enai won't show up this morning?" No, of course not," Luwan reassured. "Enai will definitely come." Just then a few customers showed up. They greeted warmly. "Are all of you here for the pickled vegetable noodles too? You probably don't know yet, but the boss won't set up her stall here anymore. Better head back early, or you'll just waste your time waiting. If you're really craving for pickled vegetable noodles, there is another stall over there. Although it doesn't taste as good as the boss, it's still better than nothing, right? The boss won't set up her stall here anymore. She's gone." This news struck the family of three like a bolt from the blue. They were dumbfounded and couldn't react for a long time. If Enai won't set up her stall here anymore, then who are they going to get money from? Luwan was the first to come to her senses. She grabbed a passerby's arm and asked, "Sir, is it true that Enai has stopped doing business here? But she was here just yesterday, wasn't she?" The passerby explained, "Yesterday was the boss' last day here. But don't worry, you can still have the boss pickled fish noodles, because she will open for business again." Upon hearing this, Luwan let out a sigh of relief and then asked, "So, when exactly will she start her business again?" The passerby continued, "She probably won't come back here. The boss bought a shop opposite the library. She's currently renovating it and plans to reopen on the 2nd of next month." Chapter 144, Making Skincare Products. Home visit to express thanks _7 Enai bought a shop. She actually bought a shop. After that, Luwan couldn't hear anything else. She felt a surge of blood to her head, blacked out, and fell unconscious right away. "Waner! Mom!" Enaideju, frightened, quickly pressed Luwan's renjong acupoint. After a while, Luwan slowly opened her eyes. The moment she opened her eyes, she started beating and berating Enaideju. "You damn coward! Why don't you go die? You can't even keep a country bumpkin in check. My money, you have to get my money back right now. 300 yuan. She invested everything she had just to lease this lousy stall. She had originally planned to skin Enai for a big pot of cash, but now, not only did she not get the money, but she also lost 300 yuan instead. Luwan's rage was about to explode. Why did that sneaky Enai go out and buy a shop? At that moment, Luwan was both jealous and green with envy. Her heart was filled with mixed emotions, and she felt extremely miserable. Lu Xiangxiang was also sitting by the side, crying and making a fuss. "My money, I want my money." She had already picked out the clothes and cosmetics she wanted to buy, and had even planned to use the money she took back today to buy a nice-looking wig. Now it all came to nothing. She couldn't accept it. Why did Enai secretly buy a shop behind their backs? Luwan hit hard. Enaidazu's face that had just recovered from bruises was again covered with fresh ones as if spring had come after the rain. Enaideju didn't dare to complain. He could only curse Enai 1,000 times in his heart. Enai had no idea what happened over here. At this time, she was squatting in the yard brushing her teeth. After brushing her teeth, she noticed a small pimple on her forehead while washing her face. For someone who loves beauty, having pimples is a big deal. It seems that simply relying on nutrition from food isn't enough. Skincare products also need to be used in order to maintain flawless and fair skin. Moreover, winter is coming, and the skin on the face and hands will crack in the cold wind. She needs to take care of her skin. There aren't many skincare products in this era. The most famous one is the snowflake cream, followed by the clam oil packed in shells. The clam oil is affordable, but doesn't provide much skincare benefit. Snowflake cream is too expensive for ordinary people to afford, and some imported skincare products are even more ridiculously priced. Just then, an idea flashed across Enai Yang's mind. She could make her own skincare products. With her previous life experience and medical knowledge, she wasn't afraid of getting poisoned. She thought so and acted immediately. After wiping her face casually, Enai Yang carried a pair of scissors and headed towards the vegetable garden. Apart from vegetables, there are aloe vera and medicinal herbs planted in the garden. Aloe vera has excellent skincare and pimple-drying properties, as well as excellent hydration benefits. Enai Yang planned to make a face wash and aloe gel with aloe vera. The aloe vera grew very well, from originally 3 plants to over a dozen plants now, which were very plump and thick thanks to Enai Quihua's regular watering and fertilizing, appearing forest green and dripping with vigor. Enai Yang snipped a full basket of aloe vera leaves with a kacha sound before heading back. Seeing Enai Yang carrying back aloe leaves, Enai Chingui exclaimed surprisingly, "No way, Yang. Can these aloe leaves be eaten too?" Because Enai Yang's culinary skills are really good. This causes Enai Chingui to immediately think of food whenever he sees Enai Yang carrying anything. Enai Yang smiled and said, "No, I plan to use it to make facial cleanser and aloe vera gel." Facial cleanser? Enai Chingui asked curiously. Is it a type of milk drink? No, you can't drink it, Enai Yang explained. It's for washing your face, cleansing your skin. Oh. Enai Chingui nodded his head in semi-understanding. Then what is aloe vera gel? Is it also for washing your face? Enai Chingui continued asking. Aloe vera gel is for applying to your face. It has acne-removing and hydrating effects. Enai Yang continued. Once I've made it, Auntie and you can try it and you'll know. Excitement immediately appeared in Enai Chingui's eyes. The process of making a facial cleanser is not complicated. First, wash the aloe and peel it, then place it in a mortar and mash it. Following that, gradually mix in a spoonful of honey and half a cup of milk to form a milky substance. Because there was no milk at home, Enai Yang specially went to Zaiwa's house in the village, which had dairy cows, to buy a can of milk. But Zaiwa's grandmother was insistent on not taking money. Enai Yang laughed and said, "Granny, if you're not taking the money, I won't dare to come to your house to buy milk next time. Our village is so far from the city. Do you really want to see me running all the way there?" Helpless, Zaiwa's grandmother finally took the money, but instantly asked Xiaohua to send over a basket of homemade vermicelli. Xiaohua squatted next to Enai Yang and curiously asked, "Sister Enai Yang, what are you doing?" Enai Yang explained to Xiaohua about the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel. After hearing the explanation, Xiaohua exclaimed in surprise, "Sister Enai Yang, you're so amazing!" Soon, the facial cleanser was ready. Next up was the production of the aloe vera gel. The production of aloe vera gel is also quite simple. Just peel the aloe and slice it, then mash it into pulp. However, if you want the aloe vera gel to be more effective, you need to add some distilled water, but making distilled water isn't that simple. Therefore, Enai Yang kept busy until after 9 o'clock before she managed to make the aloe vera gel. After making the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel, Enai Yang tried them out. The facial cleanser even foamed up well, and the effects were fantastic. After washing, she could see that her skin had become significantly smoother. After applying the aloe vera gel to her face, it was absorbed very quickly. In no time, the color of the pimples on Enai Yang's face started to fade substantially. When Xiaohua was leaving, Enai Yang filled some small jam jars with aloe vera gel and facial cleanser for Xiaohua to take home for her mother to use. Xiaohua responded politely, "Thank you for the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel, Sister Enai Yang. My mom will definitely like them." Enai Yang smiled and asked, "You know how to use them, right?" Xiaohua nodded. "Don't worry, Sister Enai Yang. I understand." Xiaohua was clever after all, and had just watched Enai Yang do everything from the side. How could she possibly not know? After seeing Xiaohua off, Enai Yang turned back to the room to let Enai Tsuehua try the aloe vera gel and facial cleanser. When suddenly, there were footsteps outside the door. "Yang, is Yang home?" Then came Yang Gobeo's voice. Sister and I Yang am here. And I Yang stepped out, and saw that it was Wang Meifeng and Yang Guobao who had come. Behind the mother and son were a party of 3, 2 elderly and 1 young, carrying big and small bags of things. Auntie Wang Guobao. And I Yang greeted them with a smile. Wang Meifeng followed up. Yang, let me introduce you. These are Gobeo's grandparents and this is my husband, Yang Changjung. Dad, Mum Changjung, this is Enai Yang, the young divine doctor who cured Guobao. Although Zhou Suhua had known that Enai Yang was very young, she was still very shocked after seeing Enai Yang in person. Moreover, she couldn't have imagined that Enai Yang was this beautiful. She could be a movie star. This temperament, this appearance, if you said she was from the countryside, people might not believe it. Young divine doctor, thank you for curing our Guobao. You are our Yang family's living bodhisattva. Thank you. Zhou Suhua grabbed Enai Yang's hand, her speech becoming incoherent out of excitement. Chapter 145 Another Source of Wealth. Enai Dezhu goes to prison. Enai Yang smiled and said, You don't have to be like this. Saving lives as a doctor is our responsibility. As for being a divine doctor, I dare not claim to be one. There are too many people in China who have far superior medical skills than me. Her voice was gentle and filled with a light smile. There was no arrogance or self-complacency in her expression. Neither was there a smug satisfaction from curing a stubborn illness. Instead, she was humble and content, giving people a very comfortable feeling upon looking at her. Zhou Suhua looked at Enai Yang, her face full of smiles. Enai Yang continued, We shouldn't stand here, let's go inside. Behind her, Yang Dahai and Yang Changjing entered the house, carrying bundles. The house was a simple countryside abode, without any valuable furniture. The simple tables and stools showed its neatness, making it feel very warm and cozy. The air was filled with a faint scent of magnolia. Zhou Suhua followed the scent and saw a dried magnolia flower on the windowsill. The dried magnolia was not as bright as when it was fresh, but it was still beautiful. She didn't know what methods the owner used to preserve the fresh magnolia flower in this manner, but it reflected the owner's elegant character. Although the life seemed frugal, it had a high degree of ritual feeling, and this feeling was just great. Enai Yang was busy brewing tea for everyone. At this moment, Enai Tsuehua came out from the inner room carrying the child. When she saw the people in the room, she was slightly startled. Enai Yang promptly introduced everyone to Enai Tsuehua. Mom, these are Gobeo's grandparents and his father. Enai Tsuehua then reacted and greeted everyone with a smile. Enai Tsuehua no longer carried the inferiority complex from 3 months ago when she first came to the city. In its place was a deep-seated sense of confidence. She was completely different from before. Zhou Suhua held Enai Kuihua's hand and said, Yang Yang's mother, you have raised an amazing daughter. If it weren't for her, where would our Guobao be now? Enai Tsuehua replied modestly, Grandma Guobao, you don't have to be so polite. Our Yang hasn't really done much, she just wrote a prescription. Enai Tsuehua is a very honest person. Although she was proud of her daughter in her heart, she didn't think this merited a grand visit from the Yang family to show their gratitude. After all, saving lives is a good deed that accumulates virtue, and it's not something to show off. Despite being just a prescription, it did save the life of Yang Guobao. Zhou Suhua was extremely grateful to Enai Yang, and also came to a realization. No wonder Enai Yang was so mature and understanding at her young age. It turned out that she had a good mother who taught by example. Enai Yang brought the freshly brewed tea to everyone. Zhou Suhua and Yang Dahai took a sip. The couple exchanged glances, their eyes filled with disbelief. This tea was different from ordinary tea. Not only did it have a refreshing tea fragrance, but upon careful tasting, there was a sweet fruity flavor mixed in. It was refreshing and sweet, quenching thirst, and the aftertaste was endless. Yang Dahai, who had been professionally tasting tea for over 20 years, has never tasted such excellent tea. Little divine doctor, what kind of tea is this? Seeing his father's excitement, Yang Changjing immediately picked up his cup and took a sip. Indeed, the taste of the tea was truly astonishing. Even he, someone who didn't usually drink tea, found it incredibly pleasing to the palate, and Yang Changjing could not help but take another big gulp. And I Yang continued. It's just ordinary green tea. However, when I was roasting the tea leaves, I added some dried tangerine peels and dried fruits. That's why it has a fruity flavor that ordinary tea leaves don't have. Yang Dahai nodded. No wonder I felt a fruity taste when I tried it. Little divine doctor, you are truly remarkable. It should be noted that roasting tea leaves is not something an ordinary person can do. Not only does it require control over the heat, but it also demands certain skills. Otherwise, the tea leaves could be overcooked or burnt, affecting the taste. But the taste of this tea was just right. Without a solid 10 or more years of experience, it would be impossible to roast such tea leaves. Moreover, Enai Yang had added other things to the tea, making it even harder to roast. Yang Guobao immediately stood up, raised his adorable little head and said proudly, That's right. Grandpa, my sister Enai Yang is amazing. She knows how to do everything. In Yang Guobao's heart, Enai Yang was like a talented little fairy. Not only was she pretty, but she also had medical skills, could cook, bake bread, and even roast tea leaves. What to do, he was starting to like sister Enai Yang even more. Chapter 146 Another Source of Wealth. Enai Dezhu goes to prison _2. Zhou Suhua took little Enai Yun from Enai Kuihua's arms. What a cute child she is, what's her name? Her name is Enai Yun, Yun as in cloud, Enai Tsuehua said. Yun, little Yun. Not only does little Yun have a pretty name, but she's also very beautiful, Zhou Suhua, who was very fond of little Enai Yun, said with her eyes full of affectionate smiles. Oh yes, we also brought a welcome gift for little Yun. Meifeng, quickly bring out the gift. Wang Meifeng immediately took out a red gift box from her bag. In the box were a longevity lock and 2 gold bracelets. These gold jewelry must cost at least 1,000 yuan, said Enai Tsuehua nervously. Grandma Guobao, you really don't need to be so polite, we can't accept such a big gift. You should accept. Zhou Suhua smiled. It's not something valuable, Enai Yang's mom. Enai Yang is a living bodhisattva to our entire family. You must not refuse. Look how pretty our little Yun looks wearing these. Little Enai Yun, with her fair and plump appearance, was extremely likable. Now, with the gold bracelets and the longevity lock, she looked like a delightful Fua doll that had stepped out of a New Year's painting. The gold bracelet came with a small bell. Whenever little Enai Yun moved, the bell would tinkle, producing a pleasant sound that lifted everyone's spirits. While Enai Tsuehua was entertaining the guests in the living room, Enai Yang went into the kitchen to cook. It was past 10 now. By the time she finished cooking, it would be almost noon, just in time for lunch. She planned to cook sour fish, braised pork belly, spicy fried river snails, and a roasted chicken as the main courses. As for the side dishes, she would make black fungus with milk cabbage, and stir-fried cabbage with vermicelli. The vermicelli was a gift from Xiaohua. It was homemade and not only healthy and free of pollution, but also had a great texture. She would also prepare a cold mixed liangpi as a chilled dish. Enai Yang looked and found a chunk of tofu left over from what Taidon mother had given her the day before. She decided to make shrimp and tofu soup with it. Meat and vegetables are paired well, with fish, meat, and chicken all included. Although there are only 7 dishes in one soup, it is an incredibly sumptuous meal for the average person during this era. Once the menu was finalized, Enai Yang started the bread oven, and then went to slaughter the big rooster they had bought the day before. Although Enai Yang looked fair and pretty as a girl, she was very decisive when it came to slaughtering the chicken. With one hand holding the chicken and the other holding the kitchen knife, the scene was somewhat bloody, but it gave a sense of tranquility. Wang Meifeng came over to help Enai Yang pluck the chicken's feathers. Enai Yang grinned and said, Auntie Wang, you don't need to help, I can handle it myself. Wang Meifeng laughed and said, Not a problem, I'm free. It wouldn't be fair for them all to idle around, while Enai Yang had to cook the meal by herself. Having grown up in the village, Wang Meifeng, even though she had later moved to the city, was still quite proficient in these chores. She quickly finished plucking the chicken feathers, then washed the chicken, and went on to clean the other vegetables. Despite Enai Yang's efforts to stop her, she carried on. After washing the vegetables, Wang Meifeng sat down by the stove to start the fire. The flame reflected in Wang Meifeng's smiling face, while the sound of stir-frying and the delicious aroma began to fill the kitchen. Despite having eaten Anai Yang's cooking before, Wang Meifeng couldn't help but be amazed. She was truly amazing. Despite being only 17, Anai Yang was already far superior to many adults. She was truly a lady who was equally proficient in the affairs of the hall and the kitchen. Around noon, Anai Yang had perfectly prepared the 7 dishes with 1 soup. The dining room table was filled with constant exclamations of admiration. Delicious. The taste is spot on. Little divine doctor, you're so amazing. Zhou Suhua had never imagined that even river snails could be cooked to be so tasty. After all, they were usually used as duck feed. The braised pork belly was sweet and fragrant, tender and rich but not greasy, melting in the mouth. The roasted chicken was incredibly crispy, baked to perfection with a tender inside, and each bite resulted in a delicious burst of flavor. Of all, the most outstanding one was the sour fish. The caudal fish was coated with starch and egg liquid, which made it tender, refreshing, appetizing, and perfect for eating with rice. Combined with the sour and spicy taste of pickled cabbage and hot pepper, it was mouth-wateringly good. After finishing the fish, one would surely crave to drink all the soup. Even at a fancy restaurant, it would be hard to find such delicious dishes. Who would have thought that a beautiful young girl with impressive medical skills can cook so well too? The taste was simply astonishing. Little divine doctor, how did you roast this chicken? Yang Changjing curiously inquired. He didn't see any grill in the house, and since the chicken was served hot, it couldn't have been bought. Moreover, things like roasted chicken or duck were in short supply and hard to find. Chapter 147 Another Source of Wealth. Anai Deju goes to prison _3. Anai Yang explained. It was baked in an outdoor bread oven. A bread oven? Yang Changjing stood up and asked. Could I see it? Of course. Anai Yang nodded. Seeing Anai Yang nod, Guobao excitedly said. Dad'll show you. Anai Yang and I built this bread oven together. Guobao led Yang Changjing to the courtyard. The bread oven was located in the corner of the yard. It wasn't large and was shaped like a bear's head. Below it, dry logs were stacked. On the left side of the bare head, 2 little figures were drawn with the words, Summer 1983, Sister and Guobao beside them. The first few words were written boldly, the latter few somewhat childish, yet combined, they were not incongruous but rather endearingly artistic. This bread oven was personally made by your sister Anai Yang? Yang Changjing asked in disbelief. Guobao nodded. Yes. Anai Yang is incredibly talented. Dad, let me tell you, this bread oven is amazing too. It can not only roast chicken but also bake bread and dry fruit. Thinking about all the food, Guobao's eyes sparkled. Hearing this, Yang Changjing was full of awe. Actually, this was not his first encounter with a bread oven. He had seen them during his overseas business trips as bread ovens produce superior results compared to conventional ovens. Hence, they are common in foreign households. However, this was the first time he had seen a bread oven in his own country. Making a bread oven may seem simple, but it is actually complex and requires professional skills. He couldn't imagine how a young girl like Anai Yang managed to build this. This young girl was far stronger than she appeared on the surface. Even Yang Changjing, an adult, felt he couldn't compare. Having spent over 3 months in the countryside, Guobao was familiar with the surroundings. He took Yang Changjing around for a stroll, and after a while, their grandfather Yang Dahai also came out. In the living room, the women were engaged in a lively conversation. Zhou Suhua, being a leader in her workplace before retiring, was not as easygoing as ordinary people. What surprised Wang Meifeng was how well she got along with Anai Tsuehua. Indeed, it must be fate. Anai Yang was sipping tea, the steam curling around her flawless skin, causing Wang Meifeng to envy her. Yang, your skin is so good. Unlike mine, which is always acting up during this season. Anai Yang laughed shyly, noticing a few red spots on Wang Meifeng's face. She advised. Aunt Wang, I think you have dry skin. The spots could have been caused by inappropriate skincare products. Be sure to hydrate your skin. Wang Meifeng replied. My skin has always been like this. It gets extremely dry in winter and easily breaks out in small bumps. Speaking of skin issues, Wang Meifeng indeed felt frustrated. She had tried numerous skincare products, both domestic and imported, but to no avail. In fact, some even aggravated her condition. Right now, during early autumn, the problem wasn't so apparent. But by late autumn and winter, her face would be covered with dry skin and red spots. Not a pretty sight. So every time autumn and winter rolled around, Wang Meifeng wouldn't feel like stepping out, let alone going to work. Aunt Wang, please wait a moment. And Ai Yang suddenly stood up and walked toward the house. Wang Meifeng was puzzled. In a short while, Ai Yang returned, holding 2 small white porcelain jars. Aunt, try these. I made them myself. This one is for washing your face, and this one is for applying. The small porcelain containers were originally for storing pills, but Ai Yang couldn't find suitable containers for her face wash and aloe vera gel, so she improvised using the small jars. For washing face? Wang Meifeng curiously asked, is it face powder? In that era, face wash hadn't been invented yet, but face powder, for instance, one produced by Haidu, a 4-in-1 face powder, was quite famous. Wang Meifeng had used it before, but it didn't work for her. Ai Yang explained with a smile. It's a face wash. You use it just like a face powder, but its effectiveness is superior, especially for your dry skin type. Chapter 148 Another Source of Wealth. Ai Dezhu goes to prison _4. In her previous life, Ai Yang was also a beauty enthusiast who put a lot of work into her skincare. She could instantly identify any skin issues. Wang Meifeng opened the lid of the porcelain jar and took a sniff. It faintly smelled lovely with a hint of milk. No wonder it was called a cleansing milk. And this one? Asked Wang Meifeng. This is aloe vera gel, Ai Yang continued. You apply it on your face after washing with the cleansing milk. Wang Meifeng nodded and smilingly put the 2 little jars away. Yang, I won't stand on ceremony then. Every heart has a love for beauty. Ai Yang is so capable, the things she produced must not be bad. What if they really worked? Ai Yang smiled and said, no need for that. Time flew by, and soon it was past 3 in the afternoon, and Wang Meifeng and the others proposed their farewells. Because Yang Changjing really liked the tea leaves that Ai Yang had fried, she packed a large bucket of tea leaves for them. Chinese are polite and reciprocate kindness, and Ai Yang couldn't let them return empty-handed. Initially, Yang Dahai wouldn't accept it. They were treated well here by Ai Yang, and she was also so polite and not arrogant like a divine doctor at all. How could they accept her things? Don't underestimate the tea, frying it takes a fair amount of time. But Ai Yang insisted again and again. Grandpa Yang, you brought so many gifts, this is just a small gesture from me. If you don't accept it, I might not welcome you next time to our house as a guest. Upon hearing this, Yang Dahai had no choice but to accept the tea. In that case, I'll accept it gratefully. Little divine doctor, we are all friends now. You must bring your mother and sister to our home sometime, and get familiar with the place. Ai Yang nodded. Sure, Grandpa Yang, I'll definitely come over when I have the chance. Yang Dahai looked at Ai Yang with admiration in his eyes. This little girl was really understanding. If it was his granddaughter, he would wake up laughing even from a dream. Goodbye, sister Ai Yang. Aunt Hua. Remember to visit my house when you have time. Ai Yang nodded, waving at Yang Guobao. Goodbye, Guobao. On the other side, after Ai Dazhu and Lu Wan went back, they still felt unsatisfied. They were so upset they couldn't eat or drink. They had spent 300 yuan to rent that stall. 300 yuan. That's a year's worth of their hard-earned savings. No. They can't just lose 300 yuan like this. When Ai Yang was buying the shop, did she ask for Ai Daz's permission? Ai Tsuehua doesn't have a man now. Ai Dazhu is the only man in the Ai family. It should be Ai Dazhu who makes decisions for the Ai family. Buying a shop must also get the approval of Ai Dazhu, the head of the family. The more Lu Wan thought about it, the more she felt it was right. She looked at Ai Dazhu and said, go and demand the money from that bitch Ai Yang right now. Ai Dazhu sighed. Want or let it go. Let's just live our lives peacefully. Even if Ai Yang has money, she's just a lowly self-employed person. We're a proud working-class family. How can she compare? They went to Ai Yang twice. The first time they were beaten half to dead by the kids in Jinghua village. The second time they directly lost 300 yuan. Daju was truly scared. Give up. Lu Wan shouted angrily. Daju, you are such a coward. How can you let this matter slide just like this? Yang doesn't have a father, and Tsuehua doesn't have a man. You are the only man in the Ni family now. It's justified that Yang gives you money. Go now. Where do I go to ask for money? Wan, or have you forgotten what happened to us in Jinghua village? Daju asked. Although what Lu Wan said made sense, Daju, not fully recovered from his injuries, was still deeply afraid of Jinghua village. Go to the new shop that bitch just bought. Lu Wan continued. Demand that she gives us at least 10,000 yuan every month. If she refuses, smash her shop and ruin her business. If Yang won't let them live comfortably, they won't let Yang live comfortably, either. If worst comes to worst, they'll fight till the bitter end. She doesn't want to give the money? No way. Lu Wan gritted her teeth and said. When you get there, don't initiate a fight, just smash stuff, don't let them decorate the shop. Hopefully, 'cause a whole lot of commotion. If she dares to hit you this time, don't fight back, let her hit you. If she really causes any harm, our whole family will squat in her shop and let her take care of you in your old age. Well, drag till she collapses. Chapter 149. Another source of wealth. Daju goes to prison _5. It's exceedingly hard for even government officials to resolve domestic disputes. Yang's going to try reasoning with them? Impossible. And this time is different from before in Jinghua village, where she had the villagers on her side. Now in the city, who could help her? At this, Dazu's eyes lit up. Wan, you're truly ingenious. Lu Wan proudly smiled and said, Of course, I am. Daju added. Then I'll go there tomorrow morning. All right, Lu Wan nodded. I'll come with you. The next morning, Daju and Lu Wan went to Yang's newly purchased shop. Upon their arrival, workers were busy renovating the place. Without uttering a word, Daju snatched a wall-scraping knife from a worker's hand and flung it onto the ground, scattering the sand and cement across the entire room. Instantaneously, the place descended into chaos. Lu Wan planted herself on the floor, causing a scene by crying and cursing Yang for being heartless. Who are you? One of the workers grabbed Dazu's wrist and angrily asked, What do you think you're doing? The other workers rolled up their sleeves, ready to fight. Dare to cause trouble here at Yang's place? Are they tired of living? Daju replied. Who am I? I'm Yang's uncle, the owner of this shop. Where is Yang? Tell that bitch to come and see me. Yang's uncle? Upon hearing this, Wang Jinfang immediately started cursing. You shameless beasts, birthed but not raised by a mother. Haven't you disgraced yourself enough in Jinghua village? Now you're here to do it again? When it comes to cursing, Wang Jinfang is a master. She is capable of 100 unique insults, each disgustingly unique. Yang and Wang Tinyu were inside discussing renovation plans. Inside Twitter, when they heard the commotion outside, they both quickly rushed out. Seeing that Daju was the one causing the chaos, Yang stayed calm. She held back an infuriated Wang Tinyu and whispered, Uncle Tinyu, let them make a scene. The bigger the better. Please tell Aunt Jinfang not to interfere. And could you also make a trip to the police station? Daju cannot carry on like this. There must be an end to this matter. Yang was profoundly relieved that this incident drama didn't take place on the day of opening. Wouldn't that be a disaster? Hearing this, Wang Tinyu instantly understood Yang's intention and immediately ran outside. He whispered something to Wang Jinfang, who was about to roll up her sleeves and confront the pair. Wang Jinfang then chuckled and reluctantly let down her sleeve. After speaking, Wang Tinyu quietly left the shop, while Wang Jinfang relayed Wang Tinius' words to the others at a low volume. Oblivious to the situation, the others carried on with their work, paying no mind to Daju. Upon seeing this, Daju assumed that they were scared by his relation to Yang, and grown even more arrogant. He rolled up his sleeves and smashed everything in sight to smithereens. Once the chaos outside had escalated to a reasonable degree, Yang calmly stepped out. Daju, What on earth are you doing? And Ai Yang asked enraged. Do you not realize that your actions are illegal? Illegal? And Ai Daju arrogantly responded. How could it be illegal to destroy one's own property? Bitch, since you've disowned us, don't blame us for being ruthless. If you don't give us money today, don't dream of renovating this shop. His own property? And Ai Yang subtly smirked. How brazen of Ai Daju to make such a claim. How disgusting. And Ai Yang looked at the entrance and continued. How much are you trying to extort from me? This ungrateful bitch and Ai Yang is finally scared. If she had acted like this sooner, wouldn't there be much less trouble? And Ai Daju ignored Ai Yang's words. Brimming with confidence, he said, 10,000. And you will have to give us 10,000 yuan every month from now on. Just thinking about becoming a man of 10,000 yuan made Ai Daju ecstatic. That's extortion. It's hooligan behavior. And Ai Yang retorted righteously. Isn't there any law in your eyes? And Ai Daju then arrogantly replied. In the Ai family, I am the law. If you don't pay me today, I'll tear this shabby shop apart. I'll make sure you can't do business. He's the law? That's quite ambitious. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Tinio led several policemen into the shop in single file. And everything that Ai Daju shamelessly claimed was heard by the police. Officer, Wang Tinio pointed at Ai Daju and Lu Wan. It's them. They're causing trouble, extorting money. They've even destroyed so many things here. Chapter 150 Another Source of Wealth. Ai Daju goes to prison _6. Ai Daju and Lu Wan were stunned. They didn't expect the police to suddenly show up. The cold steel handcuffs were placed directly on Lu Wan and Ai Daju. You two are currently suspected of damaging private finances, provoking troubles, and extortion crimes. Please come with us immediately. During the crackdown, if these charges were confirmed, they would face prison. Lu Wan cried for innocence. Officers, it's a misunderstanding. We didn't do anything wrong. It was just a family dispute. This girl, Ai Yang, my husband Ai Daju, is her uncle. We were just having fun with her. Uncle? An uncle can commit extortion? Stir up troubles? Damage others' property? Do you have no respect for the law anymore? Framed. Just horsing around? Made such a mess of somebody's store, and still have the nerve to claim it was a form of entertainment? Really thought them, the police, as blind and deaf? Ai Yang came forward and said, Officers, my name is Ai Yang, the owner of this shop. My mom was an orphan since she was young. She doesn't have any siblings at all. This person probably just grew up with my mom, but he's certainly not my uncle. Ai Dazu's original household registration had long been revoked and transferred to Lu Wan, while Ai Tsuehua also has an independent household registration, and there is no blood relationship between Ai Daju and Ai Tsuehua. It would be challenging to prove that they are siblings. The lead police officer nodded. Comrade Ai Yang, please rest assured, we, the People's Police, will bring justice to this case. Thank you, officers. Lu Wan was so angry that she cursed. You little wench, Ai Yang. You don't even recognize your own uncle. Do you have a conscience? You're going to be punished by heaven one day. Ai Yang was unfazed, and turned to the police officer. Officer, is insulting someone considered illegal? It is, the police officer nodded. According to our country's Security Administration Punishment Law, Article 10 states the penalty for security administration violation. Before the police officer finished, Lu Wan was so scared that she shut her mouth. Such a bitch. Lu Wan was so angry that she almost passed out. After collecting evidence and making records, the police took Ai Daju and Lu Wan away in their police car. 3 days later, news came from the police station. Ai Daju was sentenced to 5 years in prison for extortion and provoking troubles, while Lu Wan, being a participant in the crime, was fined 2 yuan and detained for 15 days. Not only that, Lu Wan also has to compensate Ai Yang for the damaged finances. As evaluated, the compensation was 50 yuan. Lu Wan's younger brother Lu Chang came to bail her out. As soon as Lu Wan saw Lu Chang, she started crying. She never imagined that the situation would have turned out like this. Not only did she lose her money, but now her husband was also taken away. All right, sister. Stop crying. Lu Chang advised. I've told you before, Daju is too wimpy for you. It's good that this happened. Well, go to the court and file for divorce tomorrow. You are still young and can find someone 100 times better than Daju. Lu Wan is not only beautiful, she also has a great figure and a city residence registration. Many people at the factory have been envying her. Previously, it was to Dazu's advantage. Hearing this, Lu Wan felt a bit better. She nodded and said, "All right, Xiangzi, I'll listen to you." When Yang received the 50 yuan sent by the police and learned about Dazu's final outcome, she sighed in relief. She had finally eliminated a significant problem. As for Daju, he deserved what he got and was not worth sympathizing. Lu Wan got off easy, only detained for 15 days. She should be locked up for 10 to 15 years. When Yang got home, she told Cuihua about it. Cuihua, hearing the news, didn't react much and replied with a smile. "Before, I was worried about them causing trouble at the store. Now I can finally stop worrying." Seeing Cuihua like this, Yang finally let go completely. After Wang Meifeng returned home, she tried the facial cleanser and aloe gel that Yang gave her out of curiosity. To her surprise, they worked incredibly well. Not only had the bumps and dry skin on her face completely disappeared, but her skin had also become extremely smooth. The change was very noticeable and made her co-workers very envious. "Meifeng, what skincare products have you been using lately? Your skin looks so good. Recommend it to me too?" Chapter 151. Another source of wealth. Daju goes to prison? Yes, recommend it to us too, will you? You cannot keep a good thing to yourself. If one is beautiful, everyone should be. That is right. Wang Meifeng works for a foreign company, and her colleagues are not money-starved. Seeing that the cosmetics made by Yang are so popular, she is also delighted. Maybe she can help Yang unintentionally. Wang Meifeng mysteriously said. "I use facial cleanser and aloe vera gel myself, but these two things cannot be bought outside. They were developed by a highly reputed divine doctor. The same one who cured my son's epilepsy." What Wang Meifeng said was true because in her eyes, Yang was a capable divine doctor. Really? Doctors can make skincare products too? Someone expressed doubt. Wang Meifeng smiled and said, "Is it true or false? Can't you guys tell? You all know what my face looked like in autumn before. For this face, I have detoured many paths and wasted a lot of money. Luckily, one met that divine doctor." Hearing this, her co-workers all nodded and agreed. They had been colleagues with Wang Meifeng for several years. They knew too well what her circumstances were before. Moreover, Wang Meifeng has always been very friendly, so she shouldn't cheat people. "Meifeng, how much did you pay for these two things? Can you buy one on my behalf from the divine doctor?" Wang Meifeng continued. "I'm not very clear about the specific price because the divine doctor offered me a sample to try. If you really want it, I will help you ask him when the time comes." "It's not just about asking, I really want to buy it. Meifeng, how about you bring me two as long as it doesn't exceed Lu Yuan? No woman does not cherish beauty. In any era, women are never miser when it comes to their faces. If the effect is as good as Wang Meifeng said, it would be worth it even if it is 200 yuan. I want it too. Bring me one too." "Me too." Wang Meifeng took out paper and pen. "Don't rush, one by one, I'll note it down for you. But one have to make it clear to you all, I don't know if the divine doctor will sell these, so better not keep your hopes too high." All right, as long as you help us ask, it's enough." Wang Meifeng also has a quick temper. She took leave the next day and went to Yang. After Yang heard about this, she was surprised and said, "Are the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel really that popular?" Wang Meifeng laughed and said, "Well, indeed they are. Look, these are all the people who want me to bring facial cleanser and aloe vera gel for them." Yang looked over. There were as many as 15 people on the list. This was far beyond Yang's expectation. She didn't expect that her unintentional acts could be so helpful. Maybe this method could also be a way for her to make money. "What do you think, Yang? Do you want to sell it?" Wang Meifeng asked in succession. Yang laughed and said, "Sell. Of course sell. However, Aunt Wang, One don't have ready-made cleansers and aloe vera gel at hand. How about one make some and deliver them to you the day after tomorrow? Okay. Wang Meifeng nodded and continued. So, how much are you selling these two products for? One will go back and tell them. After all, skincare products are used on the face. If it's too cheap, it will inevitably raise doubts and distrust. Moreover, the natural materials and labor used by Ni Yang would undermine profits if sold too cheaply. No one would make things without profit. Ni Yang continued. The facial cleanser would be 15 yuan per bottle, and the aloe vera gel 20. Upon hearing this, Wang Meifeng was surprised and said, Yang, are you sure you want to sell it at such a cheap price? She had earlier bought some skincare products, each costing over 30 yuan, and the effect was not good. Ni Yang nodded. The prices will be set tentatively like this. For Ni Yang, this price was already quite high. If she could cement a place in the market and keep the sales steady, it would earn much more than selling pickled vegetable noodles. Wang Meifeng nodded. Okay, then I will go back and share this good news with everyone. Wait a minute, Aunt Wang. Ni Yang called out to Wang Meifeng's retreating figure. Wang Meifeng stopped. Ni Yang turned around and walked into the house. After a moment, she handed over the remaining cleanser and aloe vera gel in her home to Wang Meifeng. Here, take this. Wang Meifeng took the cleanser and aloe vera gel, took out money from her bag, and handed it to Ni Yang. She had already taken it for free once. She certainly couldn't take it for free this time. Ni Yang smiled and declined. Aunt Wang, don't you treat me this way, it's disparaging. You helped me so much this time. According to reason, I should be paying you for promotion. Wang Meifeng laughed and said, Yang, by saying this you are treating me as an outsider. If such good skincare products are available, even if one didn't know you, I will help with the promotion. Good things should be shared by everyone, right? How can it be exclusive only for me? Ni Yang said further. If you really treat me as one of your own, stop talking about money and put it back. With no other choice, Wang Meifeng had to take her money back. After sending Wang Meifeng away, Ni Yang greeted Ni Tsuehua and rode her bicycle to the market. Now that she has decided to sell cosmetics, of course, she needs to be prepared with the right containers. The bottles for skincare products don't need to be fancy, plain-looking ones will do. So Ni Yang chose transparent glass bottles. The bottle cap was made of wood and looked very refreshing. If this path can be followed successfully, Ni Yang plans to customize a batch of exclusive bottles from the factory in the future. After buying the bottles, Ni Yang went to buy equipment for making distilled water. All these things cost her a total of 15 yuan. After returning home, Ni Yang bought a large bucket of fresh milk from Zaiwa's home. Fresh milk is not expensive. A large bucket weighing 5 kilograms costs only 5 yuan. 5 kilograms can make a lot of facial cleanser. After preparing all the things, Ni Yang began to peel the aloe vera. Ni Tsuehua came over and said, Yang, let me help you. Just remove the skin of the aloe vera and slice it, right? Ni Yang looked up and said, Mom, you don't need to help here. You can take care of my sister. Ni Tsuehua said, No problem, your sister is asleep. The mother and daughter worked together, and the work efficiency was much higher. In a short while a large amount of aloe vera was peeled. At the Mo family, these days Mo Huti's condition has become more and more serious, and old lady Mo is increasingly anxious. She hopes to see the divine doctor from Jiangnan who was mentioned by Li Xianxian. However, the divine doctor from Jiangnan has not yet appeared. Seeing Mo Huti's painful appearance, old lady Mo couldn't help crying. At this time, a servant's voice echoed in the room. Old lady, Miss Xianxian is here. Xianxian is here. Old lady Mo's dim eyes instantly filled with hope. Chapter 152. Smartly slapping the face, never give up treatmenty. Li Xianxian looked stunning today, dressed in a white lace-patterned top and a form-fitting black pencil skirt. Her long black hair was dyed to a honey brown and styled in large curls that tumbled over her shoulders, giving her a mature and sexy look. She was at the forefront of fashion, far ahead of anyone in this era. Now everyone in her circle and her classmates were emulating Li Xianxian's style. Grandma, How has Xiaodai been doing recently? Li Xianxian approached and asked with concern. Madame Emo sighed deeply. Don't worry, Grandma. Li Xianxian walked over, resting her hand on Madame Mo's shoulder. I came here today to bring you good news. Good news? Madame Emo turned to look at Li Xianxian. Have we heard from the divine doctor of Jiangnan? The divine doctor of Jiangnan was Madame Mo's only hope. Li Xianxian nodded. Yes, the medicine sent by the divine doctor has arrived. Really? Madame Emo gasped in surprise. Yes, Li Xianxian nodded. Why would I lie to you? Look, this is it. With that, Li Xianxian pulled out 2 small red porcelain bottles from her bag. Grandma, this medicine needs to be taken 3 times a day, 1 pill each time. In less than 3 days, Xiaodai will improve. Once Xiaodai gradually recovers, we can have the divine doctor come over for a follow-up visit. All right, Madame Emo nodded, her face filled with gratitude. Xianxian, on behalf of Xiaodai, thank you. You are truly a benefactor to our Emo family. As she spoke, Madame Emo burst into tears. Li Xianxian quickly comforted her. Grandma, don't say that. I can't take credit for it. I'm just a go-between. Although she said she was just a go-between, not anyone could manage this feat. The divine doctor of Jiangnan was renowned for his exceptional medical skills and eccentric personality, and he usually refused patients with the surnames Yang and Mo. Who else could persuade him to break these rules? Perhaps only Li Xianxian could do that. Madame Mo continued. In any case, Xianxian, you are indeed a great benefactor to our Mo family. Li Xianxian laughed. Grandma, don't do this. You're making me blush. Let's give Xiaodai her medicine. All right. Madame Mo turned to her housemaid. Mrs. Lin, get some warm water. Of course, madam. Mrs. Lin promptly brought a cup of warm boiled water. I'll do it, Mrs. Lin. Li Xianxian gently took the cup from her hands and walked over to Xiaodai's bedside, ready to administer the medicine. She moved gently, carefully helping Xiaodai sit up. Come on, Xiaodai, let's take our medicine. We'll get better after we take it. Though Mo Hudy was still unconscious, she was aware enough to swallow. Occasionally, water spilled from the corner of her mouth, and Li Xianxian, without a hint of disgust, gently wiped it clean with a handkerchief. Watching Li Xianxian, Madame Mo's eyes were filled with satisfaction. Li Xianxian was a rare gem. If she could become her granddaughter-in-law, it would be wonderful. Unfortunately, her eldest grandson was too stubborn. Madame Mo knew she would have to devise a way to bring the two together. After administering the medicine, Li Xianxian assured Madame Mo, Don't worry, Grandma. With the divine doctor of Jiangnan on our side, Xiaodai will be just fine. Madame Mo nodded. Li Xianxian admonished. Also, Grandma, the divine doctor said that Xiaodai can't be exposed to sunlight or wind while she's taking this medicine, so the windows need to be closed. We need to be cautious when coming and going. All right. Madame Mo immediately ordered someone to close all the windows. Li Xianxian continued. Also, besides protecting her from the wind, she also needs to follow a strict diet. She can't have spicy, greasy, or fragrant food. Madame Mo noted everything down. Having given all her instructions, Li Xianxian then asked to leave. Upon hearing that Li Xianxian was leaving, Madame Mo stood up and said, Why the rush to leave? Li Xianxian smiled. I have business to attend to at the base this afternoon. I'll come to see you when I'm free. Madame Mo stood up to accompany Li Xianxian to the door. Li Xianxian, ever considerate, said, Grandma, don't worry about seeing me out. I know my way around here better than my own home. Madame Mo held Li Xianxian's hand, saying reluctantly, Xianxian, remember to visit me often when you have the time. Chapter 153. Skillfully slapping the face, never give up treatment. Li Xianxian nodded. Don't worry. Although Li Xianxian had insisted no need for farewell, old lady Mo still escorted her downstairs. Watching the retreating figure of Li Xianxian, housemaid Lin sipped in awe. Old lady, Miss Xianxian is such a good girl. Not only is her character good, so is her appearance and manners, she's practically perfect. Indeed, old lady Mo also sighed. Xianxian is indeed an extraordinary girl. Remarkably, Mo Hudy's condition improved significantly the same night she took the medicine. She, who was previously unconscious, was now able to sit up and talk. Mo Fuhai and old lady Mo were overjoyed, shedding tears of relief. Bodhisattva blesses us. It's truly the Bodhisattva's blessing. Old lady Mo stammered excitedly. Mo Fuhai laughed. What a futile mindset. Clearly, it's all thanks to Xianxian and the divine doctor from Jiangnan. Old lady Mo nodded hastily. Yes, yes. It's all thanks to Xianxian and the divine doctor from Jiangnan. Mo Fuhai, walking up to Mo Hudi, asked anxiously, Xiaodai, how do you feel now? Does your head still hurt? Mo Hudi shook her head. No, it doesn't hurt anymore, Grandpa. You don't have to worry. In the past, when Mo Hudi said it didn't hurt, it was merely to comfort Mo Fuhai, but this time it truly didn't hurt. Grandpa, I want to go outside and bask in the sun. Mo Hudi added. Before Mo Fuhai could nod in agreement, old lady Mo said, Xiaodai, the divine doctor said you can't be exposed to the wind or sunlight now. How about we take you out after you've fully recovered? Mo Hudi nodded and continued, Grandma, I want to eat meat. Mo Hudi was truly craving for meat. After being bedridden for over a month, her diet mostly consisted of noodles and porridge, easily digestible foods. She had nearly forgotten the taste of meat. Hearing this, old lady Mo's heart ached, wiping away her tears. The Mo family were wealthy, even their servants could eat meat in their 3 meals a day, but for Mo Hudi, eating meat had become a luxury. The poor girl. Choking back tears, old lady Mo said, Good girl, you can't eat meat right now. Once you recover, I'll let you eat as much as you want. Mo Hudi dutifully wiped away old lady Mo's tears. Grandma, don't cry. I don't feel like eating meat now. Meat isn't that great. Her words sounded like she was comforting old lady Mo and also herself. Even the usually composed Mo Fuhai was moved to tears. At the Inai family residence. It was already late at night, but Inai Yang was still busy. She had packed the newly made facial cleanser and aloe gel into glass jars, with 31 jars of facial cleanser and 35 jars of aloe gel in total. The facial cleanser was milky white, while the aloe gel was a pale, jelly-like substance. Arranged in jars with round wooden stoppers, they looked particularly attractive, not unlike those high-end skincare products in later generations. Omitting the labor cost, these products had cost nearly 20 yuan in total. Selling a single jar of aloe gel would cover the cost, and this time, she had 15 pre-orders. Each order was for a jar of facial cleanser and a jar of aloe gel, totaling 35 yuan. 15 orders meant a total of 525 yuan. The thought of how a day's effort could rake in so much money made Inai Yang tireless. Her spirits were high. If she could open up the market for domestic skincare through this endeavor, that would be even better. In her prior world, famous skincare brands like SKII, Lamer, Fairma, Lancome, Helena and so forth all originated from overseas. Domestic skincare products could hardly compete within the country. Unscrupulous merchants, in order to make money and save costs, would often substitute inferior chemical substances for natural ingredients. This led to tragedies like ruined skin and glow-in-the-dark face masks, gradually eroding the public's trust in domestic skincare products. People preferred to splurge on foreign brands, even at 10 to 100 times the price, rather than settling for domestic brands. Her goal was to carve out new territory within the domestic skincare industry, while these major brands were still absent from the local market. In the past, foreigners capitalized on the exorbitant prices to make money from the Chinese. Inai Yang had a clear goal. She not only wanted to secure a foothold domestically, but also planned to market her skincare products overseas and earn a good deal of foreign money. It was high time for a resurgence of domestic skincare products. Seeing this, Inai Yang refueled her determination. As it was now autumn, she didn't need to store these skincare products in the fridge. A cool, dry place would suffice. Chapter 154. Skillfully slapping the face, never give up treatment. Having sorted through the skincare products, Inai Yang went back to her room to sleep. The next morning, Inai Yang was awakened by the scent of delicious food. Usually, Inai Yang would prepare breakfast, but Inai Tsuehua, seeing that her daughter was not getting enough sleep, would get up early to prepare breakfast. All Yang had to do was to prepare Mrs. Mo's meals the night before. "Mum, what are we having this morning? It smells wonderful," asked Yang, still brushing her teeth, and she walked over to the stove. Suehua answered laughingly, "When your aunt and I were out in the city the other day, everyone seemed to be eating fried dough sticks. They looked really appetizing, so I tried making some. Hurry up and finish brushing your teeth to taste it." In the past, without Yang by her side, Suehua would have found it difficult to get around in Beijing, but now things were different. With enough money, she had no problem making her way around the city or even between several cities. The changes in Suehua were not just on the surface. "All right." Yang nodded, quickly brushed her teeth, washed her face and came to the living room for breakfast. The main breakfast was porridge, boiled eggs, and fried dough sticks. The side dish was spicy radish strips. Savoring the porridge with some spicy radish strips, followed by the crispy fried dough stick, was nothing short of delicious. Kuihua's cooking skills were quite good. She controlled the heat of the dough sticks just right. They tasted crispy and fluffy, leaving a lingering fragrance after bites, and the spicy radish strips perfectly balanced out the greasiness of the fried dough sticks. "Mom, this tastes great." Yang gave her mother a thumbs up. Suehua laughed. "You know just how to please me." Chingue from the side said. "Yang's mom. She's not flattering you at all. Your culinary skills are way better than the vendors selling fried dough sticks." No wonder Yang's cooking skills were so good. It turns out Suehua was also quite talented. Upon hearing this, Suehua laughed even more joyously. "If it's tasty, then eat more." After breakfast, Chingue left for work, and Yang went to bring Wang Meifeng her skincare products. Wang Meifeng's workplace was in the center of Beijing. When Yang arrived, Wang Meifeng had already been waiting. Yang, over here." "Auntie Wang." Yang stopped her car with a smile. Yang, here is the money, please count it." Wang Meifeng handed Yang an envelope. Yang took the envelope, smiling. "No need to count. Don't I trust you? By the way, these are the face wash and aloe gel." She unloaded a cardboard box from the back seat of her car. "Shall I help you bring it in?" Wang Meifeng said. "No need, Yang, I can do it myself. You go ahead with your work." Yang handed the bag hanging from her car to Wang Meifeng and laughed. "You have worked hard, Auntie Wang. Oh, these are the dried fruits and sour plum soup that I made myself. Please share them with your colleagues. And this is the bread I made for Guabao." Before even opening the package, a mouth-watering aroma filled the air. Feeling uncomfortable accepting Yang's gifts for no reason, Wang Meifeng insisted that these were not a big deal to her. It was Yang who had been a great help to her family. If it hadn't been for Yang Guabao would still be sick. Without Yang, would her skin have become so good? Seeing Wang Meifeng's rejections, Yang swiftly filled Wang Meifeng's arms with the items, hopped onto her bike, and turned to depart, hollering back, "Bye, Auntie Wang." Wang Meifeng chuckled and shook her head. This child. Back in her office, Wang Meifeng put aside the things that Yang had given for Yang Guabao. She then distributed the skincare products along with the dried fruits and sour plum soup to her colleagues. "Wow. Meifeng, this sour plum soup is incredible. Where did you buy it from? The dried fruits are also good. They are even tastier than the imported ones." The office filled up with the rustling sound of munching on dried fruits and words of praise. Wang Meifeng said, "Both the dried fruits and sour plum soup were handmade by the divine doctor. She asked me to bring them and share with you all." "That divine doctor is amazing. How does she know how to do everything?" "Absolutely. She is quite extraordinary, isn't she?" Suddenly, a voice sourer than vinegar piped up. "This tactic of attracting popularity is indeed good. Who knows if she really is that good? You all shouldn't count someone's money after being sold." The speaker was Lu Fun, who usually butted heads with Wang Meifeng. Lu Fun had once pursued Wang Meifeng's husband, Yang Changjing. After Wang Meifeng and Yang Changjing became a couple, Lu Fun believed that Wang Meifeng had come between her and Yang Changjing's relationship. So she often targeted Wang Meifeng, dreaming of shattering Wang Meifeng and Yang Changjing's marital bliss, hoping for a prompt divorce. Chapter 155. Cleverly slapping the face, never give up treatment carrot. Lu Fen had once heard that the relationship between Wang Meifeng and Zhou Suhua was a strained mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship, which made Lu Fen ecstatic to the point where she couldn't sleep for 3 days and 3 nights. Wang Meifeng wasn't afraid of Lu Fen either. Immediately she retorted, "Whether someone is really impressive or not, time will tell everyone. There's no need for you to poke your nose into everything. Lu Fen, I just don't understand. A long enough rope can be knotted. Why can't your tongue be?" Cultured people truly have a unique way of swearing, without a single dirty word. Lu Fen hadn't even graduated from junior high. The only reason she could work here was nepotism. When she said this, a wave of laughter immediately swept through the crowd. Lu Fen's face had turned beet red, and she felt like cursing those who had bought skincare products to get facial abscesses and become disfigured immediately. After some time, Lu Fen turned to a co-worker she was relatively close with and said, "Nana, remember skincare products are put on the face. Be careful with these unverified products, without any manufacturing date or brand. I'm worried they might disfigure you. I have a relative who was cheated by a known person and used skincare products of unknown origin. She is 35 now, and still can't find a husband." To discredit Wang Meifeng and the unknown divine doctor, Lu Fen even didn't hesitate to curse her own relatives. At these words, Zhou Nana was a bit surprised and said, "Sister Fen, is that really true?" Lu Fen nodded and dead serious said, "Of course, would I joke around about my own relative? Let me tell you, she now hides at home. Too ashamed to face people with her disfigured face that even ghosts would be scared of." A disfigured face. This was no joking matter. And what Lu Fen said made sense. Would you use a skincare product with no label? Once she said this, not only Zhou Nana but the faces of other co-workers also weren't looking too good. Seeing everyone like this, Lu Fen showed a pleased smile on her face. Wang Meifeng laughed and said, "Rest assured. Not only is Divine Doctor skillful in medical skills, his craft in making skincare products is also top-notch. You all are worried about your faces being ruined, but does my face look damaged to you? Don't listen to Lu Fen's alarmist talk. She just can't stand to see others doing better than her." Wang Meifeng spoke directly without any fear of offending Lu Fen. Even though Wang Meifeng said so, everyone was still somewhat apprehensive. After all, the face is one's identity, and it matters a lot. If problems crop up later, who would they go to for help? They should be more cautious. Feeling a bit remorseful, Zhou Nana mused, "I'm sorry, Sister Meifeng. Could I return this skincare product to you? If not, forget it. I'll just consider this 35 yuan spent as a lesson learned." Wang Meifeng laughed and said, "Of course you can. I'm not forcing anyone to buy anything. But Nana, don't regret your decision." Seeing Zhou Nana returning the skincare product, the others followed suit. Though buying and returning behavior wasn't ideal, their faces mattered more. After all, 35 yuan wasn't a small amount. Money didn't come easy for anyone. In a blink, 11 people returned their products. 4 people didn't return their products, 2 of them being Wang Meifeng's good friends who trusted she wouldn't lie to them. The other 2 were Wang Meifeng's subordinates, who out of respect, didn't feel comfortable returning the products. Wang Meifeng wasn't angry. It was just a couple of 100 yuan. If they missed out on good products, that was their loss. Looking at the 4 people that didn't return the products, Lu Fen sneered, "Are you 4 fools? Or do you just like being disfigured?" A slightly overweight woman glared at Lu Fen and threatened, "Lu Fen, if you dare to distort the truth and being nonsensical, believe it or not, I'll slap you." This was Sun Mei, usually more aggressive. If she was truly angered, she wouldn't hesitate to take action. Grudgingly, Lu Fen shut her mouth. These women who refused to listen to good advice deserved to be disfigured. They would regret it someday. Sun Mei patted Wang Meifeng's back. "Ignore her type. I believe in you. I also trust you." Another good friend, Tao Yuan, also comforted Wang Meifeng. Wang Meifeng nonchalantly said, "It's fine, the innocent need not worry. I am not angry. It's not worth getting angry with such people." And Ai Yang had no idea what was happening here. She was currently riding her bike, humming a tune and heading towards the vegetable market. Chapter 156. Cleverly slapping the face, never give up treatment. A black car was driving straight towards her. Seated in the back was none other than Mo Baichuan. Mo Baichuan spotted Yang almost instantly. Her, again, had had a few days of peace, and now? Why was she back in front of him? Could this really be a coincidence? Who would believe that? Mo Baichuan narrowed his eyes and ordered, "Xiao Xiao, pull over." All right. His driver, Xiao Xiao, did as he was instructed. Mo Baichuan opened his door, getting out of the car and standing in the middle of the road with his arm out, blocking Yang's car. If Yang was going to keep trying to get his attention, he might as well play the game once. Someone suddenly jumping out into the middle of the road startled Yang so much she almost swore. Her fast reaction was the only thing that saved her from hitting him. Are you insane? Yang looked up furiously to indeed see a madman. Mo Baichuan. Yang, tell me, what's the point of all this? Mo Baichuan glared coldly. I'll tell you straight, no matter what you do, I'll never be attracted to someone like you. Even if Yang has the face of Su Daji, he isn't King Zhou of Shang. Yang picked at her ear disbelievingly. What did you say? Mo Baichuan continued. Did you not understand me? I'll repeat it for you then. I will never be attracted to a scheming woman like you. Yang laughed out of pure frustration. She had been on this earth for 2 lifetimes, and she had never met another as narcissistic and shameless as Mo Baichuan. Yang took a deep breath, pulled the watch out of her pocket, and shoved it into Mo Baichuan's hands. Thank you for promising never to be attracted to a conniving woman like me. Hey, race your watch, and please stay out of my sight in the future. You might enjoy it, but I, the scheming woman, have a strong sense of hygiene. She deliberately emphasized the word strong sense of hygiene. And delusion is an illness that needs treatment. Before Mo Baichuan could react, Yang pulled out a 1-cent note and placed it in Mo Baichuan's hand. You're still young, don't ever give up on getting treatment. Consider the money my good deed for the day. Yang had initially planned to give him a bigger note, but upon second thought, she decided that Mo Baichuan wasn't worth wasting it on. A cent was more than enough. If there were even smaller amounts, she wouldn't have given him a cent, leaving her parting words ringing in the air. Yang didn't wait for Mo Baichuan's reactions. She hopped onto her bicycle and left. Mo Baichuan was on the verge of exploding with rage. His handsome face seemed to have a layer of frost, sending chills down your spine. What did Yang mean by all this? Was she doing the exact opposite of what he expected? For the first time, Mo Baichuan was infuriated not once, but 3 times by the same woman. Daring. She was so daring. The 1-cent note in his hand was crumpled into a ball by Mo Baichuan. His knuckles turned white from clenching his fist. This was the first time had ever been this angry. No woman had met would dare behave anything less than a docile kitten around him. Yet Yang was acting like a hedgehog. One day, he would expose her true face. Through the car window, his driver, Xiao Xiao, seemed to see a familiar scene. It seemed that only Yang had the ability to make Mo Baichuan lose control. Xiao Xiao couldn't muster the courage to approach Mo Baichuan, and could only sit stiffly in the car. With the arrival of chilly autumn wind, the weather had begun to turn cold. So tonight Yang planned on cooking grilled fish. Due to the weather, fish and shrimp were no longer available from local ponds, so she went to the vegetable market. She bought a catfish, along with some bean sprouts, tofu skin, and kelp to accompany it. After finishing her grocery shopping, Yang visited the hardware store to buy a pan for grilling fish. However, after a thorough search, she couldn't find a pan similar to the one she had had in her previous life. So Yang explained what the fish grilling pan looked like to the shopkeeper. The shop owner replied with a smile, "We don't have the kind of pan you're looking for, but we do have another that won't stick to the fish." Yang asked, "Could you please show it to me?" In a brief moment, the shopkeeper presented her with a round stainless steel pan, quite similar to the pancake griddles, but without a long handle, just 2 knobs. This pan. It could work. Then Yang asked, "I'll take this one then. How much is it?" Chapter 157. Cleverly slapping the face, never give up treatment _6. 8 yuan. The boss must really think she's a kid to mess around with. An old pot that hasn't sold for over 800 years. And he wants to sell it for 8 yuan? And I Young laughed and said, "Boss, quit joking. I'm serious about buying. I'll take it for 1 yuan and 50 cents. The boss replied speechlessly, "Young lady, you're the one who's joking. A pot worth 8 yuan for 150? This pot is the most sought after this year. If you come any later, you might not be able to buy it." And I Young said, "I've never seen any sought-after item that has been stored in the warehouse for several years and not sold. If you don't really want to sell it, then I'll leave you alone." With that, I Young turned and left. Seeing that I Young had walked several steps and had no intention of turning back, the boss immediately shouted, "Young lady, come back. Come back quickly. I'll sell it to you for 150. Although 1 yuan and 50 cents wouldn't make much profit, it was better than it rotting in the warehouse and turning into a piece of waste. She originally thought that this young lady was easy to fool, but she never expected that this young lady was very shrewd. Successfully buying a pot and groceries, I Young returned home. When she returned home, it was after 5 in the afternoon, just in time to cook. I Tsuehua was washing vegetables, while I Young went to start a charcoal fire to grill fish. The grilled fish had to be grilled with charcoal fire to be authentic. Grilling in a bread oven would definitely not work. So Young started a charcoal fire in the stove, split the fish in half and skewered it on a bamboo stick, and started grilling. Before long, there was a sizzling sound in the air. After seeing the fish oil come out, she started adding chili powder, cumin powder, table salt, and other spices. After all the spices were added, a distinctive barbecue aroma came out. I Young seemed to have returned to the time in her past life when she sat on the street grilling skewers. After the fish was grilled till both sides were golden brown, I Young started to stir-fry the grilled fish ingredients. First, she stir-fried the bean paste to bring out the red oil, then added spring onions, ginger, and garlic to bring out the fragrance. Then she added green chili peppers, onions, Sichuan peppercorns, soy sauce, beer and water. After it was boiled on high heat, she poured the red soup over the grilled fish. Instantly, an enticing aroma filled the air. The fragrance of cumin, the spiciness of the red oil, and a sprinkle of cilantro as decoration. A look and taste-appealing grilled fish was ready. I Young brought the grilled fish to the table and lit the small stove. Immediately, the red oil soup and the grilled fish started to boil, and the aroma became even stronger. At this time, she added the side dishes and you could eat while dipping in the soup. When Enai Chingue walked in, he was immediately shocked by this enticing aroma. "Yang, what are we eating today? It smells so good." Enai Yang smiled and said, "Enai Aunt, we're eating grilled fish today." Enai Chingue had had braised fish, steamed fish, sour fish, and even sashimi, but he had never had grilled fish. No need to think about it. He knew this taste must be amazing. Upon hearing this, Enai Chingue couldn't wait and said, "I'll go wash my hands." Grilled fish is different from sour fish. It's numbing and spicy at first bite, then crispy on the outside and tender inside. It's so soft that it melts in your mouth as you take a light bite. Even the side dishes boiled in the soup are so delicious that people doubt their life. After finishing a pot of grilled fish, the soup left in the pot can be eaten with several bowls of rice. Why can fish be made so delicious? Enai Chingue was almost crying. Yang, I have nothing else to say. Just 2 words, phenomenal." Enai Chingue held a thumbs up to Enai Yang. Enai Yang laughed and said, "It's good that you like it, Enai Auntie." Although Enai Tsuehua didn't say anything, she was equally shocked. She thought the sour fish was already delicious. To her surprise, the taste of this grilled fish made it irresistible. In comparison, she felt that the food she used to eat at the Mu family was not even as good as pig's food. After the meal, Enai Chingue finally had the chance to discuss something important. "By the way, Yang, 2 of my colleagues want me to buy your aloe vera gel and facial cleanser for them. Do you sell those?" The results of the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel that Enai Yang made were incredibly good. Not only could it make the skin smooth, but it also made the skin more elastic and made their skin look rejuvenated. This caused wherever she went, people would ask her what brand of skincare she was using. "Of course I sell it." Enai Yang nodded. Enai Chingue asked again, "How much are they?" Enai Yang replied, The facial cleanser is 15, and the aloe vera gel is 20. Chapter 158. Skillfully slapping the face, never give up treatment. 2 bottles for 35 yuan really isn't expensive. After all, these skincare products work so well. And Ai Qinggui then said, "Then get me 2 sets, no 3 sets, I need a kit too." And Ai Yang had given her some last time, which she had nearly used up. And Ai Yang turned around, fetched 3 sets of skincare products from her house and handed them to her. And Ai Qinggui took out 105 yuan from her pocket and gave it to Ai Yang. And Ai Yang took out 35 yuan and returned it to Ai Qinggui. "Aunt Ai, you've helped me promote my skincare products and even sold 2 sets for me. How can I take your money? From now on, I'll cover all your skincare products. If you run out, just let me know directly." A good product is important, but knowing how to drive your business is even more important. And Ai Yang wouldn't sacrifice greater benefits for a little profit. No employee is obliged to do overtime for their boss, although Ai Qinggui is not her employee. The principle is the same. As the saying goes, even brothers keep accounts. And Ai Qinggui felt embarrassed and said, "How can this be, Yang Yang? It's not easy for you to do business." And Ai Yang laughed and replied, "Nothing is impossible. Aunt Ai, please take it at ease, we're family, you've always taken great care of me. If you don't accept this, it would really be alienating." And Ai Yang gave her word, leaving Ai Qinggui no choice but to accept. At the same time, she decided to herself that she would definitely help Ai Yang promote her skincare products more in the future. Meanwhile, when Sun Mei was washing her face in the evening, she noticed the clear glass jar on the sink. Although in the daytime, she firmly stated that she trusted Wang Meifeng. This was after all a matter concerning her own face. What if really like what Lu Fun, that harbinger of doom, said? Between using it and not using it, she hesitated for a long time. Eventually, she decided to take a risk and give it a try. What if it really works like magic? She refused to believe that Wang Meifeng, an old acquaintance, would harm her. Removing the cap of the facial cleanser, Sun Mei immediately caught a whiff of a very pleasant fragrance. Although it was very light, it was nonetheless refreshing to the senses. Would a crappy skin-ruining product smell this nice? With that thought, Sun Mei's worries evaporated significantly. She put some of the facial cleanser in her palm, applied it evenly on her face, and within a short while, a white foam appeared on her face. It was gentle and not irritating, and was able to wash off the dirt and grease hidden on her face. After washing, she felt significantly more relaxed. It seems that Wang Meifeng was indeed telling the truth. This stuff is really better than facial powder. Sun Mei then applied some aloe vera gel on her face. After completing her skincare routine, Sun Mei went to bed. When she woke up the next morning and was combing her hair, Sun Mei was amazed to discover that the red spots on her face were gone, and her skin was much more moisturized than usual. This is simply incredible. No wonder it was developed by a divine doctor. As soon as Sun Mei arrived at the company, she excitedly told Wang Meifeng about what happened. Even though she didn't speak loudly, everyone in the office heard her. Did everyone else frown? Is it real or fake? Are those skincare products really that miraculous? But upon examination, it seemed that Sun Mei's skin condition did look much better. Didn't Lu Fen say it would ruin the face? Noticing the stares of others, Lu Fen snorted coldly. It's only been 1 day. How could it ruin the face so quickly? At least 3 days. Just wait and see. In 3 days she will definitely regret. Everyone thought so too. It's only been a day. What effect could be seen? Time flew by quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it was the 2nd day. The 2nd day, Sun Mei's skin not only showed no signs of abnormalities. Instead, it was radiantly healthy. On the 3rd day, when everyone was looking forward to seeing Sun Mei's face deteriorate, her face not only did not deteriorate, but also looked better than it did the day before. Her skin had improved, and Sun Mei was all smiles wherever she went, no longer exhibiting her previously fierce demeanor. By this time, Lu Fen was already becoming restless. It shouldn't be. Why didn't her face get ruined? How could a product with no certifications and standards not ruin the face? Perhaps 3 days was not long enough to show any effect. It might take 6 days. Yes, it must be like this. However, on the third, fourth, and even fifth day, Sun Mai's skin condition got better day by day. Now she even hummed while walking. The sight of this left everyone envious. Walking boastfully up to Lu Fun, Sun Mai taunted. Lu Fun, didn't you say that my face would be ruined after 3 days? But now 6 days have passed. Not only is my face undamaged, but my skin has also been getting better and better each day. You really should apologize to Mei Feng. Hearing this, everyone chimed in agreement. Yes, Lu Fun is to blame. If she didn't cause trouble back then, we would already be using it by now. Lu Fun, you nearly cost us the chance to use such good skincare products. You owe an apology not only to Mei Feng but also to us. Enraged to the point of blushing, Lu Fun retorted. It may be that the time isn't up yet. Sun Mai, what are you so pleased about? Just wait and see, sooner or later your face will be ruined. Laughing, Sun Mai responded. Lu Fun, your disgusting face is really hard to look at. Forget it, I'm in a good mood today and can't be bothered to quarrel with you. Otherwise, I would definitely have slapped you. Also, I'm putting it out there today, if I hear you bad-mouthing Divine Doctor again, I, Sun Mai, will not let you off. The surrounding crowd began to reprimand Lu Fun for her wrongdoing. Lu Fun, who was previously a crowd favorite, had now become a scapegoat. Right then and there, Lu Fun was like a dog that had fallen into the water. She slinked away with her tail between her legs, leaving the office in shame. Just wait and see. Sooner or later, they will regret it. After Lu Fun left, her colleagues rushed towards Mei Feng. Mei Feng, is it too late for me to change my mind? I'm willing to pay double the price for the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel. Me too. I want to buy too. Mei Feng, we're sorry, we shouldn't have betrayed you. We didn't trust you. Mei Feng, we're sorry. Mei Feng replied with a slight smile. It's okay. As our chairman said, if you can correct your wrongs, you are still a good comrade. But there are none left today. The remaining 11 bottles from last time were all bought by colleagues from other departments. If you want to buy them, you can come over and register first. The price will still be the original one. Thanks to Sun Mai's example, those 11 bottles were swept clean by the neighboring department 3 days ago. Hearing this, the previously calmed people flared up at Lu Fun once more. Mo family. Early in the morning, Zhou Suhua brought Yang Guobao to visit Mo Hudi, who was sick. Even after taking the medicine from the Divine Doctor for a week, Mo Hudi's condition looked much better than before, but she was still bedridden and her face was filled with signs of illness. Zhou Suhua told Mrs. Mo about Yang Guobao's complete recovery. Surprised, Mrs. Mo asked, "Is he really recovered?" Zhou Suhua nodded. "Indeed, he's better. I underestimated the Divine Doctor and nearly missed Guobao's chance of recovery. Thankfully, Mei Feng is a good girl and insisted on the treatment. Erwin, that Divine Doctor is really amazing. Why don't you let her come and see your daughter, Hudi? It's not doing us any good to keep on like this." Chapter 159. Home Visit. Li Xianxian commits suicide. Zhou Suhua now deeply believes in Ni Yang. When she talks about this, her eyes are full of admiration, without treating Ni Yang as a 17 or 18-year-old kid. She also earnestly hopes that Mo Hudi will get better soon. Otherwise, she wouldn't have recommended Ni Yang to Old Lady Mo. Hearing this, Old Lady Mo was surprised. Is that Divine Doctor really that amazing? Didn't I hear people say that he was just a 17 or 18-year-old kid? How could a child be so capable? Old Lady Mo was still somewhat skeptical in her heart. Zhou Suhua nodded. It's true. We've been sisters for so many years. Would I lie to you? Although the young Divine Doctor is young, his medical skills are genuinely brilliant. Otherwise, Guobao wouldn't have recovered so quickly. Erwin, think about it. In order to cure Guobao's illness, Changzheng and Mei Feng visited many hospitals and even consulted with foreign professors. But the illness that even the foreign professors couldn't cure was cured by her. Isn't she a Divine Doctor? Sometimes a person's strength really can't be judged by their age. If Mei Feng didn't believe in the Divine Doctor like me at the time, Guobao might not be here now. Upon hearing this, Old Lady Mo became deep in thought. The current young Guobao is indeed very different from the previous one. The before and after was like two different people. You must know that the disease Yang Guobao previously suffered from was considered incurable. There was no record of successful treatment in modern medicine. But Yang Guobao and Mo Hudi's illnesses were completely different. Could that divine doctor really cure Mo Hudi as well? Old Lady Mo hesitated for a moment, then said, Actually, Xiaodai's condition has improved somewhat recently after taking the medicine prescribed by that Jiangnan divine doctor. As the saying goes, too many cooks spoil the broth. Wouldn't it be inappropriate to consult another doctor? Zhou Suhua promptly replied. Although that's true, more manpower means more hope. We all want Xiaodai to get better quickly. Seeing as that Jiangnan divine doctor hasn't even shown his face, getting another person to have a look might ease our concerns. Zhou Suhua spoke reasonably, so old lady Mo nodded. Suhua, your words are eye-opening. In this case, where does that divine doctor live? I'll have someone invite him right away. Zhou Suhua said. Let's do this, I'll call Meifeng now. Okay. Old lady Mo kept nodding. Then I will have to trouble your family's Meifeng. Zhou Suhua laughed and said, We've known each other for so many years, there's no need to mention anything burdensome. Zhou Suhua got up to make the call. Wang Meifeng is also a warm-hearted person. Upon hearing her mother-in-law's words, she immediately dropped her work, and had Yang Changjing drive her to Nai Yang's place. Yang Guobao bounced over. Grandma, old lady Mo, is Sister Nai Yang coming to treat Xiaodai? Zhou Suhua nodded. Yes, your dad and mom have already gone to pick up your sister Nai Yang. Yang Guobao cheerfully said. That's great. Sister Nai Yang will surely cure Xiaodai. After that, Yang Guobao ran to the bedroom to bring this good news to Mo Hudi, who was lying in bed. The servant quickly shut the door, fearing that even a little wind would come in. Yang Guobao ran to Mo Hudi's bedside, excitedly saying, Xiaodai, let me tell you, Sister Nai Yang is really amazing. When he said this, his eyes were nearly sparkling. Mo Hudi weakly said, Really? Yang Guobao nodded. It's really true. Look how well I look now. It's Sister Nai Yang who cured me. Xiaodai, don't worry, Sister Nai Yang will definitely be able to cure you too. Soon we can go to school together and play together. Hearing this, a smile of longing appeared in Mo Hudi's eyes. It was a desire emanating from the depths of her heart. It was also the redemption of a deeply ill person. Just then there were footsteps outside the door again. Old Lady Zheng and Miss Xianjing are here. The servant pushed open the door from outside. Zheng Xianjing supported Old Lady Zheng into the room, and the coughing sound of Old Lady Zheng accompanied them. Old Lady Mo, seeing Zhou Suhua, Zheng Xianjing exclaimed in surprise. Oh, Old Lady Yang is here too. Xianjing. Zhou Suhua greeted her with a smile. Zheng Xianjing was a sweet and pretty girl who performed well in her studies. She was quite liked by the elderly folks. Chapter 160. Home Visit, Li Xianxian commits suicide _2. After everyone was settled, Mrs. Zheng asked, Erwin, I heard that Xiaodai has improved significantly after taking the medicine Xianxian sent over. Is that true? Madame Mo nodded. Yes, Xiaodai has indeed improved a lot thanks to Xianxian. But later, a divine doctor will be coming to check on Xiaodai. Is it that divine doctor from Jiangnan? Mrs. Zheng continued to ask. Madame Mo said, No, it's the doctor who cured Guobao. Guobao is well. Mrs. Zheng expressed her surprise. Suhua, is this true? Zhou Suhua nodded. It's true. Mrs. Zheng went on, Where is Guobao? Zhou Suhua replied with a smile. He's inside chatting with Xiaodai. Let me call him out for you. All right. Mrs. Zheng nodded. Shortly after, Zhou Suhua brought Yang Guobao out from the room. Hello, Granny Zheng and Sister Xianjing. Yang Guobao greeted politely. Come here. Let me take a good look at you. Mrs. Zheng summoned Yang Guobao. Yang Guobao approached. Mrs. Zheng first felt Yang Guobao's forehead and then his hands, pausing for a long while before confirming. He's cured. He's truly cured. In a sick person, it's normally cold at the root of the nose, and the acupuncture point in the middle of the palm. However, those points in Yang Guobao were no different from a healthy person's. Granny Zheng, of course am cured, Yang Guobao said proudly. My sister Nai Yang is very awesome. Sister Nai Yang? Mrs. Zheng was somewhat puzzled. Zhou Suhua from a side explained. Sister An Yang is the divine doctor who cured Guobao. Oh, Mrs. Zheng nodded. Then Yang Guobao continued to say, let me tell you, Granny Zheng. Not only is my sister An Yang good with medical skills, but she is also very beautiful. If you meet her, you're sure to like her a lot. Mrs. Mo teased from the side. Is your sister An Yang more beautiful than Sister Xianjing? Yang Guobao glanced at Zheng Xianjing. After a moment, resting his chin on his hand, he answered seriously, well, Sister An Yang is a bit more beautiful than Sister Xianjing. In truth, she was much more beautiful, but Yang Guobao felt shy to say it out loud. His mother had taught him that one should not only be honest, but also diplomatic, in dealing with others. One should always leave some face for the other party. By declaring that Sister An Yang was multiple times more beautiful than Sister Xianjing, he was sure to embarrass her. Yang Guobao's earnest demeanor amused the three elderly people, and made them laugh heartily. Zheng Xianjing was also smiling, but there was a flash of strong resentment hidden in her bowed eyes. What a brat! Does he even know what to say? Even Li Xianxian isn't as beautiful as her. How could a simple country doctor possibly compare to her? Her previously good mood was completely ruined by the child's words. When Wang Meifeng arrived at the Ni family's home, she found Ni Yang watering the plants in the vegetable garden. Wang Meifeng relayed the situation regarding Mo Hudi to Ni Yang. After bidding Ni Tsuehua goodbye, Ni Yang took some emergency medicine and got into the car with Wang Meifeng. Xiaodai is 13 this year. She got sick when she was around 9 or 10, and has been bedridden since then. She's a pitiful child. Yang, you don't need to stress. Well, just go and take a look. If we can't treat her, it's okay. After all, Mo Hudi's illness was completely different from Yang Guobao's, and Wang Meifeng didn't want to put too much pressure on Ni Yang. Ni Yang nodded. I understand. The car was fast, and they soon arrived at the Mo's residence. As soon as the car door was opened, Yang Guobao rushed out from the courtyard and hugged Ni Yang. Sister Ni Yang, you're here. Guobao. Ni Yang patted Yang Guobao's head. Then, Yang Guobao introduced Ni Yang to Mrs. Mo and Mrs. Zheng, who were standing behind him. Granny Mo, Granny Zheng, this is my sister Ni Yang. Ni Yang nodded politely. Nice to meet you. Mrs. Zheng stared at Ni Yang, momentarily at a loss for words. This girl. Why did she find this girl so familiar? Mrs. Zheng even had a sudden impulse to embrace Ni Yang. Zheng Xianjing glanced at Mrs. Zheng, and suddenly felt a sense of irritation. This expression on Mrs. Zheng's face was all too familiar. It was the same face she wore every time she thought about her deceased daughter. That person was already dead. Couldn't she care a little bit more about the feelings of the living beside her? Chapter 161. Home visit, Li Xianxian commits suicide _3. Despite showing our filial piety to this damned old woman all these years, we end up being deemed worse than a corpse. How utterly ridiculous. This ungrateful hag deserves to have no descendants. Although Zheng Xianjing cursed the old woman hundreds of times in her heart, she still put on a polite and understanding face. Zhou Suhua next to her said, Erwin Aching, this is the young divine doctor Ni Yang whom I told you about. Even though old lady Mo was aware that the person who had treated Yang Guobao was youthful, she hadn't expected them to be a child. Moreover, she was incredibly beautiful. Old lady Mo once thought Zheng Xianjing was the most beautiful girl she had ever seen, but now compared to Ni Yang, Zheng Xianjing seemed like a mere commoner. It is often said that when God opens a door, he also closes a window. Generally, people with exceptional talents have some slight deficiencies. This little girl was so beautiful, flawless in fact. Could her medical skills be as impeccable? After all, they do say that beauty lacks brains. So in old lady Mo's mind, usually people who were too beautiful weren't all that bright. Every saying does have its origin after all. Although old lady Mo had her doubts, she still smiled and said, Hello young divine doctor, I am Xiaodai's grandmother. I appreciate your attention to Xiaodai. Ni Yang smiled lightly. You're too kind. As a doctor, it's my duty to treat and save people. This child was quite modest. Not impatient. Not bad at all. Well, why not let her try? Maybe she is indeed talented. Good child, how old are you this year? Old Lady Zheng asked, holding Ai Yang's hand with a somewhat moved expression. Ai Yang politely answered. Old lady, I am 17 today. Old Lady Zheng nodded. 17. 2 years younger than our Tingting. Where are you from? Before the old lady could continue her question, Zheng Tingting interjected surprisingly. I can't believe the young divine doctor is only 17. At 17 I was just a child, but the young divine doctor is already famous. It's quite a shame to our generation. Even though this remark seemed to praise Ai Yang, it actually had a sting. Famous? Ai Yang had only treated one person, Yang Guobao, so where did this fame come from? Besides, old Lady Mo was doubtful of Ai Yang's medical skills from the start. This remark was not only prickling, but also filled with considerable ridicule. For some reason, Zhang Xianjing just couldn't bring herself to like Ai Yang. Having such a beautiful face, she was certainly no good girl. Zhang Xianjing enjoyed hanging out with people who were less attractive than her. Those who looked better than her deserved to die. Ai Yang wasn't offended but smiled and said, Kai Wenji identified melodies at 6, Kong Rong yielded pairs at 7, and Gan Luo became prime minister at 12. People are different with diverse talents. You don't need to feel inferior, sister. Ai Yang's tone was light, but her words were powerful, a beautiful retort. Zhang Xianjing kept a stifled breath in her heart, almost to the point of being infuriated to death by Ai Yang. Both Old Lady Mo and Old Lady Zhang wore approving expressions. This young divine doctor indeed was a formidable figure. An ordinary 17-year-old child wouldn't comprehend such philosophy, let alone so much insight. Besides, Zhang Xianjing was usually an exceptional kid. Very few rich girls could match her rhetorically, but today, she tasted defeat at the hands of Ai Yang. Quite extraordinary indeed. Seeing Zhang Xianjing in an awkward position, Old Lady Mo stepped in and said, Let's go inside. Xiaodai is still waiting. Zhang Xianjing bit her lips unwillingly, but remained silent. Sometimes less talk is better. The more one talks, the more mistakes they make. She would take her revenge at the appropriate time. Ai Yang followed Old Lady Mo and others into the courtyard. The Mo family lived in a row of villas with 5 floors each. The villas in the front, the servants' rooms at the back. The servants' rooms were slightly shorter but very grand, clearly indicating the family's prosperity. The interior was also top-grade luxury. Beautiful crystal chandeliers, delicate imported Persian carpets, huge leather sofas and famous paintings could be seen everywhere. Any ordinary person who entered such a house would be amazed, like Granny Lu visiting the Grand View Gardens. Chapter 162. Home Visit, Li Xianxian commits suicide _4. But who was Ai Yang? In her previous life as director what kind of scenario had she not experienced? She didn't see much in these trivialities. Seeing her so calm, Lady Mo couldn't help but take a few more looks at her. This child was a bit beyond her expectations. Looking at her attire, she didn't seem to be from a wealthy family. Yet, after seeing these things, there was no trace of greed in her eyes, just sheer clarity and tranquility. She didn't seem like a child in her teens, but more like someone who had been through 1,000 storms and held high positions. Perhaps she indeed had the potential to achieve great things. They all went upstairs together. And just as they were stepping onto the top stair, Lady Zheng missed a step. Just as she was about to tumble backward onto the ground, someone gently grasped her hand, pulling with a clever force, stabilizing Lady Zheng's body immediately. She heard a soft voice beside her. Be careful, old lady. Looking up, Lady Zheng saw it was Ai Yang who had assisted her, and she gratefully said, Thank you, young divine doctor. It was nothing. Ai Yang replied with a light smile, 2 shallow dimples appearing on her cheeks. For a moment, Lady Zheng lost herself. She remembered that her Tingting also had such small dimples. Grandma, are you all right? Zheng Tingting, who was leading the way, noticed something was wrong. She stopped and held onto Lady Zheng's arm, asking concernedly. Only then was Lady Zheng jolted back to reality. She responded with a helpless smile. I'm fine. Ai Yang softly reminded. The elderly may have trouble with mobility. You should pay more attention, sister. How amusing. Was Enai Yang indirectly criticizing her lack of filial piety? Should she take a look at who she is first? A mere barefoot village doctor who accidentally cured Yang Guobao's illness. What right does she have to judge her? For a moment, Zhang Xianjing was even more irritated. Yet she still smiled and said, Young divine doctor is correct. It was indeed my negligence this time. Thank you, young divine doctor. Grandma, let us go in quickly. Enai Yang said no further and followed everyone into the room. The moment she stepped into the room, Enai Yang discreetly furrowed her brows. The air in the room wasn't pleasant, it was outright disagreeable. Enai Yang looked around. Realizing that all the doors and windows in the room were tightly closed, the curtains were drawn, and the only light was coming from a chandelier overhead. Based on the stale air, she guesstimated that the room had been closed off for at least 10 days, if not longer. Little Miss Mo Hudy, who was lying on the bed, was ominously pale and emaciated. If Wang Meifeng hadn't mentioned it earlier, Enai Yang would never have guessed that this child was already 13 years old. Yang Guobao ran over to Mo Hudy with excitement. Shout I, this is the sister Enai Yang I told you about. Mo Hudy looked up at Enai Yang, graced her with a light smile, and politely greeted, Hello, Sister Naiyang. This sister Enai Yang was indeed as beautiful as Yang Guobao had claimed, prettier even than Snow White on television. Hello, Xiaodai. Enai Yang sat down, extending her hand towards Mo Hudy to feel her pulse. The air in the room grew still. Everyone was waiting for Enai Yang to speak. After a while, Enai Yang released her hand, raised Mo Hudy's chin and instructed, Don't be nervous, close your eyes first. I need to check your pupils. Mo Hudy closed her eyes as instructed. After examining her pupils, Enai Yang wore a complex expression. She looked up at Lady Mo and asked, Has Xiaodai been taking any medication lately? And did her condition improve after that? Yes. Lady Mo nodded. Enai Yang continued, Can you bring the medicine over for me to see? Certainly. Lady Mo nodded, retrieving a small red porcelain bottle from the drawer of the bedside table. After Enai Yang received the porcelain bottle and sniffed it lightly, she proceeded. The pills contain aconite, piperaceae, 7 dragon's grass, puraria root, cherry seed, snakeberry, dandelion, and other medicinal herbs. These herbs have astringent properties, warm regulation, and help to clear internal heat, but they have been erroneously prescribed for Xiaodai's condition. If Xiaodai seems to be improving, it is only due to the astringent properties working to alleviate her symptoms temporarily. This is treating the symptoms, not the cause. She must stop taking these immediately, because otherwise within 3 days, not only will her condition not improve, but it will worsen to such an extent that it could be life-threatening. Enai Yang spoke earnestly. There wasn't an ounce of jest in her expression. Lady Mo was taken aback. But this was personally sent by the divine doctor of Jiangnan. Chapter 163. Home Visit, Li Xianxian commits suicide _5. Could a medicine prescribed by the divine doctor be wrong? Moreover, Mo Hudy's condition has shown signs of improvement after taking the medicine. Could it be, as Enai Yang said, a treatment of the symptoms but not the cause? One is the famous divine doctor of Jiangnan. The other is the divine doctor who cured Yang Guobao. For a moment, Elder Lady Mo was unsure about whom to trust. Seeing Elder Lady Mo's uncertainty, Enai Yang continued, I assume the divine doctor of Jiangnan has never met Xiaodai in person, right? Old Lady Mo nodded and said, Although the divine doctor of Jiangnan has never met Xiaodai in person, he is aware of her symptoms and medical history. Enai Yang responded, Even Confucius the sage made mistakes. Let alone the divine doctor of Jiangnan who has never met Xiaodai. Misdiagnoses are normal. Hearing this, Elder Lady Mo found herself contemplating deeply. Did the divine doctor of Jiangnan actually misdiagnose? Upon hearing this, Zhang Xianjing almost laughed out loud. How shameless of Enai Yang. Misdiagnosis? How could the divine doctor of Jiangnan possibly misdiagnose? And Enai Yang, a novice village doctor, had the audacity to accuse the divine doctor of misdiagnosis? Absurd. Seeing Elder Lady Mo falling for Enai Yang's words, Zhang Xianjing chuckled and said, As far as I know, traditional Chinese medicine is divided into internal medicine, surgery, neurology, and dermatology. Considering the divine doctor of Jiangnan's reputation in treating complex cases, I don't think he could have misdiagnosed. After all, he has been practicing medicine for decades and is already 60, with no known instances of misdiagnosis. Furthermore, the illness Guobao had is epilepsy, a condition he was born with. It is entirely different from Xiaodai's illness. Each doctor has their own specialty. Little doctor, I think it's too hasty for you to claim that the divine doctor of Jiangnan misdiagnosed, considering Xiaodai's well-being. Zhang Xianjing spoke logically, persuading elder Lady Mo to nod her agreement. Upon reflection, the divine doctor of Jiangnan seemed to be the more reliable choice. The divine doctor of Jiangnan has cured many people, while Enai Yang has only cured Yang Guobao. Comparing their experience, Enai Yang is far less qualified. Wang Meifeng wanted to say something but was stopped by Zhou Suhua. After all, life was at stake, and they felt reluctant to interrupt. If Mo Hudi were to lose her life under Enai Yang's treatment, Enai Yang would be held responsible for her death. They invited Enai Yang to help treat the illness, not to create hostility. As to whether they believe in Enai Yang, it all depends on elder Lady Mo. If anything were to happen, she wouldn't be able to blame anyone else. After some thought, elder Lady Mo asked, "So little doctor, what is your treatment plan? And what is Xiaodai suffering from?" Enai Yang responded, "Xiaodai is presently suffering from severe malnutrition and blood dryness caused by internal warmth diseases. That's why she has been bedridden." He paused before continuing, "My plan is to immediately open all the doors and windows in this room to let the air circulate. Then, Xiaodai needs to eat more nutritious foods, especially fish and meat, to replenish her energy. Finally, I will prescribe a formula and use acupuncture treatment. Within 6 months, Xiaodai will be cured." 6 months are just a conservative estimate. In fact, with Enai Yang's skill, it only takes 2 to 3 months for a full recovery. Elder Lady Mo frowned slightly, but the divine doctor of Jiangnan expressly urged against exposing Xiaodai to sunlight or wind, and she is not allowed to eat oily and spicy foods. "Little doctor, are you sure your treatment will work?" This was a direct contradiction to the divine doctor of Jiangnan's orders. Enai Yang explained, "Continuously closing doors and windows reduces air circulation, which can lead to indoor bacterial infection, and weaken the body's immune system, especially in the case of someone like Xiaodai who has been bedridden for a long time. As for diet, Xiaodai's illness doesn't restrict her food intake. Constant dietary restrictions wouldn't alleviate her condition, but rather lead to malnutrition, worsening her illness." Enai Yang's argument made sense, leaving elder Lady Mo speechless. Zhang Xianjing sneered at him under her lowered eyes. Did this Enai Yang actually consider himself a divine doctor? He had the audacity to refute the divine doctor of Jiangnan. How shameless! Zhang Xianjing looked at Enai Yang and mockingly asked, "So you're saying that Xiaodai must receive acupuncture?" "Yes," Enai Yang nodded. "There's no other way." Zhang Xianjing continued, "But I heard that only seasoned practitioners of traditional Chinese medicine can perform acupuncture. After all, if a single acupoint is wrong, the consequences could range from paralysis to life-threatening." Chapter 164. Home Visit, Li Xianxian Commits Suicide _6. At these words, Mrs. Mo Sr. was taken aback. Xiaodai was the only bloodline of her daughter left, which she could not risk endangering. No matter whether it was whole-body paralysis or life-threatening, she could not bear it. Seeing Mrs. Mo Sr. in extreme panic, Zhang Xianjing added, "Acupuncture isn't a joke. Even some regular large hospitals dare not do it. Divine doctor, can you ensure it's completely safe?" Finally finding an opportunity for revenge, and to show off in front of Mrs. Mo Sr., Zhang Xianjing naturally would not miss this opportunity. Once she saved Mo Hudi's life, Mrs. Mo Sr. would definitely thank her. At that time, she would become a great benefactor of the Mo family. Enai Yang smiled lightly, saying, "Every operation carries a risk. I can't guarantee what might happen during the acupuncture treatment, but I can ensure that as long as the procedure goes smoothly and medication treatment is used in combination, Xiaodai will definitely recover within half a year." Any highly skilled doctor would never give 100% guarantee to their patients. Because no one knows which will come first, tomorrow or an accident. No one can predict if there will be any rejection or loss of blood during the surgical procedure. Ai Yang is just a doctor, she isn't a god. She can't stop accidents from happening. If an accident happens then, she would be labeled as a killer. Ai Yang had witnessed too many medical disputes in her previous life, so she didn't want to risk her hard-earned second life by playing games with her future. Zheng Xianjing smiled. Since the divine doctor cannot ensure it's completely safe, I think we should follow the method of the Jiangnan divine doctor. After all, the Jiangnan divine doctor has so much experience. Mrs. Mo, what do you think? Mrs. Mo Sr. was in a dilemma now. As after all, Ai Yang was recommended by Zhou Suhua. If she rejected Ai Yang outright, she was afraid it would somewhat harm Zhou Suhua's face. But if she didn't refuse, it would risk Mo Hudi's life. Seeing Mrs. Mo Sr.'s dilemma, Ai Yang smiled and said, practicing medicine and saving lives depends on destiny. Since Mrs. Mo Sr. doesn't trust me, I won't bother you anymore. Seeing Ai Yang about to leave, Yang Guobao shouted anxiously, Mrs. Mo, please trust Sister Ai Yang. Sister Ai Yang can truly save Xiaodai. Zheng Xianjing walked to Yang Guobao, tenderly saying, good boy, don't interrupt while grown-ups talk. Yang Guobao pushed away Zheng Xianjing's hand, and quickly caught up to Ai Yang, Sister Naiyang. A malicious glimmer flashed in the depth of Zheng Xianjing's eyes. Damn kid. Better if he falls and dies on the stairs. Mo Hudi turned her eyes to Mrs. Mo Sr. Grandma. Mrs. Mo Sr. looked at Mo Hudi said, don't worry, Grandma knows what to do. After Wang Meifeng and Zhou Suhua greeted Mrs. Mo Sr. and Madame Zheng, they followed Ai Yang. Wang Meifeng rushed to Ai Yang apologized. Yang, I'm sorry making you run here in vain. Ai Yang smiled and said, it's okay Auntie Wang, I'm inexperienced and young, it's understandable that everyone doesn't trust me. As for Xiaodai's case, I just need to speak honestly and not regret. Trust cannot be forced. Hearing this, Zhou Suhua nodded in agreement on one side. It's really good that you can think like this, Yang. Xiaodai's case is complicated after all. If you insist on staying to treat her and something goes wrong, it'll be too late to explain. Sister Ai Yang, will Xiaodai get better? Yang Guobao was holding Ai Yang's hand, his voice holding a bit of a sob. Ai Yang bent down, gently comforting. Guobao, don't worry. Xiaodai has natural fortunes, she will definitely get better. Really? Yang Guobao wiped his tears. Really? Naiying nodded it. After getting in the car, Wang Meifeng finally got the chance to talk with Ai Yang about other things. And also Yang, everyone is reacting well to the skincare products you made. My colleagues have ordered 16 sets this time. Do you have any ready stock? Wang Meifeng always reported good news, not worries, hence Ai Yang did not know that the skincare products were initially returned by her colleagues. Wang Meifeng originally thought of keeping the skincare products for herself if nobody else wanted to buy them. Unexpectedly, a truly good product has nothing to fear from slander and defamation. Whether it's good or not, everyone has eyes and can see for themselves. Chapter 165. Home visit. Li Xianxian commits suicide. Ai Yang nodded. Sure, Aunt Wang, I will deliver it to you tomorrow morning. Zhou Suhua continued. Yang, it's still early, why don't you come and sit at our house for a while? Upon hearing this, Yang Guobao tagged along excitedly. Yes. Sister Ai Yang, come and play at my house with me. Later, I'll have my dad bring over my sister and Aunt Hua. Ai Yang laughed. I'm afraid I can't today. I have some things to do in the city center later. It will be enough trouble for Uncle Yang to stop the car up front. There had been ongoing renovations at the shop for more than 10 days, and now many trivial matters awaited Ai Yang. Upon hearing this, Yang Guobao pouted immediately, portraying an unhappy appearance. Ai Yang consoled. Don't worry, Guobao, as soon as I have time, I'll definitely come and play at your house. Really? Yang Guobao was suddenly excited. Really? Ai Yang nodded. Sister Ai Yang, let's make a pinky promise. Yang Guobao extended his little pinky to Ai Yang. Ai Yang hooked her little finger with his. Pinky promise, hang a nail, No changing for 100 years, whoever changes will be a puppy. Yang Guobao exclaimed in surprise. Sister and Yang, you know this too? And Yang laughed softly. Because I also grew up from your age. After Yang left, Mo Hudi had been taking her medication from the divine doctor of Jiangnan on time, and her condition was gradually improving. Seeing Mo Hudi getting better and better, the smile on old lady Mo's face gradually increased. So many years had passed. She finally saw hope. The second day, the third day, Mo Hudi's condition remained very stable. By the afternoon of the third day, not only had Mo Hudi's condition not worsened as Yang had said, but she was even able to walk on her own. Old Lady Mo and Mo Fuhai were beside themselves with excitement. Old Lady Mo expressed her gratitude more than once, as it was fortunate that Zheng Xianjing was there to give timely advice, resulting in them not giving Mo Hudi acupuncture. If they had done the acupuncture, Mo Hudi would not have been in her current condition. Thank goodness. Old Lady Mo immediately sent a gift to Zheng Xianjing as a token of thanks. Upon seeing the gift, Zheng Xianjing knew that her judgment was not wrong. How could a despicable woman like Yang have the ability to heal? Fortunately, she acted fast and saved Mo Hudi's life. Seeing her daughter being so capable made Zheng Lingling extremely pleased. Xianjing, if you work hard, you can marry into the Mo family and become old Lady Mo's granddaughter-in-law. Granddaughter-in-law? Zheng Xianjing sneered in her heart. Her target was not Mo Baichuan. Compared to that man, Mo Baichuan was not even 1 in 10,000. Xianjing, Zheng Lingling implored discontentedly, pushing Zheng Xianjing. Are you still thinking about the eldest of the Mo family, that disappointing sixth son? Zheng Xianjing did not reply. Zheng Lingling drew a long breath, speaking with seriousness. Xianjing, you are a smart girl. You've never given me any worries growing up. But why are you so infatuated with this? Mo Qishan is a loser. A loser that even Zhao Jingrong looks down on. Tell me, how on earth can you like such a person? Just wait and see. Zhao Jingrong will regret her refusal one of these days. Zheng Xianjing curled her lip. Zheng Lingling was scared half to death. My darling, you haven't really taken a liking to that loser, have you? Zheng Xianjing stood up and pushed Zheng Lingling out the door. Mother, stop worrying so much. I have this under control. Just remember, only the best man in the world is worthy of me. After returning to her room, Zheng Xianjing lay in bed. Her mind kept drifting back to that scene she had inadvertently witnessed half a year ago. If she wasn't mistaken, Mo Qishan was far more complicated than he appeared to be. So, she wanted to take a gamble on Mo Qishan. Now she needed to go to bed early, and then wake up early tomorrow to go congratulate the Mo family. Mo Qishan should have returned after being away for so long. However, chaos had descended upon the Mo family. Mo Hudi's condition suddenly worsened. It started with a low fever, then a high fever, and finally she fell into a coma. In the middle of the night, lights were on all over the Mo family's residence. Both practitioners of traditional Chinese medicine and Western medicine surrounded Mo Hudi's room, but none could determine the cause of her condition, let alone how to reduce her fever. Old Lady Mo was so worried that she was wiping away tears. What to do? What should they do now? At this critical time, it was Mo Fuhai who maintained his composure. Don't worry, don't worry. Maybe this is just a normal reaction to the medication. Mrs. Lin, call Miss Xianxian right now and ask the divine doctor what is going on. Yes, sir, I'll do it right away. On the other end of the phone, Li Xiangxian's voice was terrible. She cried, I'm so sorry, grandfather and grandmother. I really didn't know that the divine doctor was lying to me. Mo Fuhai snatched the phone abruptly, angrily saying, that damn divine doctor dared to play with people's lives. Tell me, what's his name? Where does he live? Overwhelmed with sobs, Li Xianxian gasped for air. He committed suicide out of guilt. Mo Fuhai, a man who had lived through half his life filled with battles, lost control for the first time. He smashed the phone violently. On the other end of the line, a malicious curve tugged at the corner of Li Xiangxian's mouth. Yang would be married to a man castrated by the heavens. Mo Hudi was also killed by someone. The two stumbling blocks were gone. Her second half of life was now worry-free. Il Xian shed tears while picking up a pen and slowly writing 2 characters on the paper. Suicide note. In her nearly 1,000-word suicide note, she expressed all of her regret to Mo Hudi. She had wronged Mo Hudi, so she could only repay her with her own life. After finishing the suicide note, Li Xianxian picked up a sharp dagger and slowly slit her wrist's radial artery. Blood dripped onto the suicide note, reflecting the stark black and white characters. Half an hour later, the urgent alarm went off. An hour later, several police officers went to the Mo family, explained the situation with Li Xianxian to old lady Mo and Mo Fuhai, and handed them a copy of her suicide note. Comrade Li Xianxian is currently in critical condition. The hospital has issued 3 critical condition notifications. She is an orphan with no family. The only contact person is you, so please prepare yourselves. Old lady Mo cried. Why is Xianxian so foolish? Mo Fuhai also didn't expect that Li Xianxian would choose to prove her innocence through suicide. These continuous waves of events plunged the 2 elderly people into endless pain and self-blame. At this point, the servant Mrs. Lin said, Old madam, there's someone who might be able to save Xiaodai. Who? Mo Fuhai and old lady Mo grasped at this like the last straw. Mrs. Lin continued. It's that young divine doctor who came last time. Do you remember, old madam? He said that Xiaodai's condition would worsen within 3 days. Today is the 3rd day. Chapter 166. Uncle and nephew standoff believe in Yang Yangle yes. And Nayang. Madame Mo took Auntie Lin's hand. Auntie Lin, contact the divine doctor Nai Yang immediately. Auntie Lin responded. Okay, I will contact him right away. Nai Yang's home did not have a phone. If the Mo family wanted to get in touch with him, they had to contact Wang Meifeng first. Unfortunately, after calling many times, no one answered. Madame Mo grew increasingly anxious. Just as she was considering sending the driver to the Yang family's home, they heard footsteps from within the house. Grandfather, grandmother. Mo Baichuan walked in with a few doctors in white coats trailing behind him. Baichuan. Seeing Mo Baichuan, Mo Qishan and Madame Mo felt like they saw a beacon of hope. Madame Mo hugged Mo Qishan tightly, sobbing softly. Grandma, don't worry. Xiaodai is destined to be lucky, she will be all right. Mo Baichuan continued. By the way, I want to introduce Dr. Ace who came from overseas along with his students. Dr. Ace has an extraordinary medical skill, and has even won an international award. Upon hearing this, Mo Fuhai and Madame Mo turned their attention to Dr. Ace and his students. Nice to meet you, Dr. Ace. Mr. and Mrs. Mo, nice to meet you. Mo Baichuan continued. Grandpa and Grandma, let Dr. Ace examine Xiaodai first. Our family has already been swindled by a so-called divine doctor. We cannot afford to make the same mistake again. Medical science is advanced overseas. These so-called divine doctors should have been outdated long ago. Yes, Baichuan is right. Madame Mo nodded, leading Mo Baichuan and Dr. Ace upstairs. As soon as they entered the room, Dr. Ace said seriously, Ignorance. Such plain ignorance. Sealing off windows and doors won't help the patient's disease, but rather cultivate bacteria. A patient's immunity is generally much lower than average, so you are bringing harm to her. Open the windows and doors immediately to maintain airflow in the room. These words were exactly what Nai Yang had said. Madame Mo instructed people to open the doors and windows immediately. Fresh air from the outside flowed into the room, making the air inside much more pleasant. People usually have a pale face when having a fever, but Mo Hudi on the bed was pale as a ghost. The students prepared medical equipment while Dr. Ace conducted a full-body examination on Mo Hudi. Mo Baichuan checked his watch before saying, Grandpa and Grandma, I will leave for a while and come back soon. If Dr. Ace needs anything, please cooperate with him. Mo Fuhai nodded. You go first, no need to worry about us. Mo Baichuan grabbed his coat and hurried out. By this time, the sky was beginning to light up. Dr. Ace continued to examine Mo Hudi. The atmosphere in the room was tense as Mo Fuhai and Madame Mo waited anxiously. As time passed, Dr. Ace eventually put down his stethoscope. Mo Fuhai and Madame Mo immediately approached Dr. Ace. How is Xiaodai, Dr. Ace? Is there any hope for her? Dr. Ace responded. Given the current situation, there is generally no hope. However, there is one last method we can try. Tell us. Madame Emo hurriedly said. We will do anything to save Xiaodai. Emo Fuhai echoed. Yes. Dr. Ace, as long as you tell us, we will cooperate. A total blood transfusion, Dr. Ace continued. However, this operation only has a 30% success rate. As guardians, please consider whether to proceed with this surgery. Total blood transfusion? Blood is the source of life in a human body. If all the blood drains out, accidents are likely to happen. A total blood transfusion might lead to multiple complications, and even if the patient recovers, their physical condition would not be as good as before. Anai Yang had never mentioned a total blood transfusion before. Madame Emo was very hesitant at the moment. After a while, Madame Emo resolutely said, No, we won't. No, Dr. Ace almost thought he had misheard. Yes, we want. Madame Emo turned to Auntie Lin. Auntie Lin, immediately have old Wang take you to Gobeo's home and bring the divine doctor here. Compared with Dr. Ace's suggestion of a total blood transfusion, Madame Emo was now more inclined to believe in Anai Yang. Chapter 167. Uncle and nephew confront each other. Trust in Yang_2. After all, everything Anai Yang said 3 days ago had proven true. This time, she definitely wouldn't be fooled again. All right, madam. Aunt Lin turned and walked towards the door. Upon hearing these words, Dr. Ace angrily said, Lady Mo, what are you doing at such a critical moment? You're still choosing to trust those fraudulent quacks? Forgive me for saying, your Chinese backward medical approach, especially in a place where medical resources are not fully equipped, is impossible to provide hope for the treatment of difficult diseases. Xiaodai may have been theoretically failed by the misapplication of medicine, but the actual murderer is the caregivers like yourselves. If they employ the procedure of blood replacement surgery, Mo Hudy has at least a 30% chance of recovery. If the Mo family continues to let quacks treat her, it's like pushing Mo Hudy directly into the grave. Preposterous. Absolutely ridiculous. Dr. Ace's face turned red with fury. Mo Fuhai continued. Dr. Ace, I don't deny that foreign medical technology is indeed very advanced, but you can't deny the existence of our divine doctor in China. The history of China has been handed down over 5,000 years, and has produced many legendary doctors. Dr. Ace responded speechlessly. Now I finally know how the Qing dynasty fell. It's because of ignorant people like you. You will regret this. There will be no pill for regret later. As a doctor, the situation they hated the most was when patients clearly had a chance to survive, but were delayed by their family's decisions. Dr. Ace was so angry that he was at a loss for words. If it weren't for his students holding him back, he might have already turned violent. Let's go. Dr. Ace didn't want to stay here any longer. He led his students away from the Mo's house. Looking at Dr. Ace's retreating figure, Mo Fuhai turned to Lady Mo and asked, Erwin, have you really decided to trust this young divine doctor? Yes. Lady Mo nodded. I have faith in her. She'll be able to cure our Xiaodai. Let's try it again. There was a far-off look in Mo Fuhai's eyes. Aunt Lin immediately went to Yang's house by car. It wasn't until approximate 2 hours later that the car once again appeared in front of the Mo family mansion. Lady Mo and Mo Fuhai personally met them at the door. Little divine doctor, you finally arrived. Madame Mo grabbed Anai Yang's hand tightly, like a drowning person clutching the last straw for survival. Yang. When Mo Fuhai saw Anai Yang, he was stunned. He hadn't expected that the divine doctor Lady Mo had been talking about was Anai Yang. Seeing Anai Yang somehow reassured him a lot, because he knew that Anai Yang never did anything she wasn't confident about. Anai Yang seemed a bit surprised too. Grandpa Mo? Lady Mo looked puzzled. Do you know each other? Mo Fuhai continued. Yang is the young friend I told you about who I met while fishing in Jinghua village. Lady Mo replied. What a wonderful coincidence. Little divine doctor, our Xiaodai is in a critical situation right now. Please take a look at her quickly. All right. Anai Yang nodded, and they head upstairs together. Compared to 3 days ago, Mo Huti's current situation was far more severe. Shout I? Lady Mo covered her mouth, sobbing in low voice. Her emotional state was nearing the breaking point. Mo Fuhai sighed deeply and patted Lady Mo's shoulder, comforting her. Shout I will be all right. Anai Yang sat by the bed, took Mo Huti's pulse with a very serious face. A moment later, Anai Yang took a pill from her bag and put it in Mo Huti's mouth. Yang, how is Shout I now? Mo Fuhai asked anxiously. Not hiding anything, Anai Yang bluntly stated, the situation isn't good. What do we do then? Is there really no hope left? Mo Fuhai continued to ask. Anai Yang continued. There's still hope, but you should mentally prepare for the worst. I'll first try acupuncture with Shout I. If she wakes up after that, then some Chinese medicine should be able to cure her. As the saying goes, the higher the hope, the greater the disappointment. Given Mo Huti's current condition, Anai Yang couldn't give them much hope. She could only try her best. Mo Fuhai hesitated. So it seems Shout I's life or death depends on this acupuncture? Yes. Anai Yang nodded. Although acupuncture has its risks, it's far safer than a complete blood transfusion. Chapter 168. Uncle and Nephew Standoff Believe in Yang_3. Madame Mo continued. All right, we'll be troubling the young divine doctor then. Please start acupuncture for Shout I. All right. Anai Yang followed. Oh, 'twill also need a candle. Upon hearing this, a servant immediately went to prepare a candle. Anai Yang opened her acupuncture kit, revealing a row of gold needles against the gray-white interior. These gold needles cost Anai Yang 6 large Unity lottery tickets. Although silver needles were much cheaper, her master who taught her skills once told her that the effects of silver needles couldn't compare to gold needles. So Anai Yang gritted her teeth and bought gold needles instead. After leaving the Mo family, Dr. Ace found Mo Baichuan and lodged a complaint about Mo Fuhai and Madame Mo. After hearing Dr. Ace's words, Mo Baichuan also felt that his grandparents had acted improperly this time. After all, they had been deceived once. How could they still trust the so-called divine doctor this time? Such a muddle-headed decision. He was now curious to see what skills this so-called divine doctor had. After Mo Baichuan got out of his car, he quickly walked towards the villa. The moment he pushed the door open, he thought he was having an hallucination. The young girl was wearing a water blue chest dress, wide leg pants, and small leather shoes, just like a university student from oil paintings of the Republic of China. Mingming was plain and natural but had rosy lips and white teeth, beautiful yet bewitching. Was this Anai Yang? Mo Baichuan had an ominous feeling. Could it be that Anai Yang was the so-called divine doctor? This was too absurd, right? Without even thinking, he knew why Anai Yang was here. She was just trying to catch his attention. Such people really stop at nothing. A look of disgust appeared on Mo Baichuan's face as he strode into the room. Hearing the sound, Madame Mo immediately looked up. Chuan is back. Suppressing his anger, Mo Baichuan replied, Grandmother, Dr. Ace is a renowned doctor in M country. How could you anger him away? He said that there's a 30% chance of success, so he definitely has the ability to cure Shout I. Don't you realize that you're ruining Shout I's life by doing this? That voice sounded familiar. While heating the gold needles over the candle, Anai Yang glanced over. At first glance, she saw a face that annoyed her significantly. Why was he everywhere? Anai Yang subtly averted her gaze and focused on the gold needles in her hand. What are you talking about, Chuan? Madame Mo said. I'm Shout I's biological grandmother. Why would I harm Shout I? If anyone's going to harm Shout I, it's going to be Dr. Ace. Rest easy, the young divine doctor will definitely cure Shout I. Mo Fuhai nodded. Your grandmother is right. Young divine doctor? Mo Baichuan scoffed, his words full of disdain. You mean the noodle seller? The noodle seller? Hearing this, Madame Mo and Mo Fuhai both looked stunned. Mo Baichuan continued. Grandma, you don't know yet, do you? The young divine doctor you speak of is actually a noodle seller. Oh right, grandmother, the breakfast you eat every day is made by her. At this, not only were Madame Mo and Mo Fuhai stunned, even Anai Yang was shocked. So the old lady was Madame Mo. Fate truly is a mysterious thing. Before Madame Mo and Mo Fuhai could speak, Mo Baichuan continued. Grandma, Grandpa, don't tell me you believe that a noodle seller can cure Xiaodai? If she were truly so skillful, would she be selling noodles? Just as Enai Yang was about to speak, a deep voice suddenly came from outside the door. What's wrong with selling noodles? Can't a noodle seller be talented? Great nephew, aren't you brought up on grains as well? What right do you have to look down on noodle sellers? What right do you have to deny Yang Yang's abilities? The man outside the door walked in against the light, his handsome features gradually appearing in the air. Interestingly enough, Enai Yang also recognized this man. While he winked at Enai Yang, he walked towards her. Yang, my great-nephew is born in the year of the dog, so he loves to bite people when he has nothing to do. Don't bother with him, I believe you can cure Xiaodai. Brother Mo. Enai Yang looked at him a bit joyfully. Counting the days, she hadn't seen Mo Qishan for 2 or 3 months now. Mo Baichuan hadn't expected that Enai Yang, just to get close to him, actually hooked up with Mo Qishan too. That's just terrifying. Uncle Six, you've been deceived by this little girl. She's not as simple as you think. The usually calm and composed Mo Qishan was now blushing with anger. He loosened his tie in frustration. Chapter 169. Uncle and Nephew Standoff, Believe in Yang_4. Mo Baichuan continued. She's just trying to get my attention. That's why she's not leaving any stone unturned to approach you all. Mo Qishan let out a faint laugh, looking at Mo Baichuan up and down before speaking in a slow tone. Nephew, you're flattering yourself a bit too much. Why would Enai Yang neglect a good-looking person like herself for Mo Baichuan? Is Mo Baichuan even 1/10 as good-looking as she is? Mo Baichuan took a deep breath. Everything I said is true. Until today, she tried to approach me in many ways, but I rejected all her attempts. She's a woman full of schemes. Nonsense. Mo Fuhai stood up and said. Yang is not that kind of person. Having known Enai Yang for a while, Mo Fuhai deeply acknowledged her upbringing and character. Grandfather, Uncle Six. Enai Yang's aim is simple. She wants to please you all, then marry me smoothly and become the eldest son's wife of the Mo family. You all better wake up. Mo Baichuan could hardly wait for his family members to see Enai Yang's true colors. This woman is too intimidating, to the extent where she is able to fool all the members of the Mo family. Yang is not blind. Would she choose you, nephew? Mo Qishan said as he turned to look at Mo Baichuan, pointing to his own head. I'm beginning to suspect that there's something wrong here, and it's more than just a little. After finishing the sentence, Mo Qishan slightly leaned towards Enai Yang. Yang, don't mind him, he's not in his right mind. You just continue to help Xiaodai with the acupuncture treatment. Okay, brother Mo. Nayang nodded. Seeing how close Enai Yang and Mo Qishan were made Mo Baichuan even more infuriated. Uncle Six, you'll get Xiaodai killed by doing this. Mo Baichuan turned his head to look at Grandma Mo and Mo Fuhai. Grandfather, Grandma, please believe me, Enai Yang is just a noodle seller. How can she possibly cure Xiaodai? Uncle Six, even if you're fooled by this woman, you can't just watch Xiaodai walk toward the dead end. No matter how useless Mo Qishan is to the Mo family, his seniority is there. He will always be Mo Baichuan's Uncle Six. The Mo family places great emphasis on respecting the elders, and thus, Mo Baichuan can't confront Mo Qishan. He can only seek help from Mo Fuhai and Grandma Mo Qishan never found this nephew annoying before. But now he found Mo Baichuan irritating every aspect. Upon hearing this, Mo Qishan's face immediately darkened. Why can't a noodle seller have medical skills? Zhu Yuanzong, the founding emperor of the Ming dynasty, had been a beggar and a food peddler before he ascended to the throne. Can you deny his ability to govern because of his past? Nephew, have you been feeding your textbooks to dogs? So, you've only picked up the skill to look down upon others? Enai Yang looked at Mo Qishan with surprise. Did Mo Qishan just show tough love? Surprisingly, this man is quite just. The corners of Enai Yang's mouth slowly curve into a soft arch, and her dimples appeared shallowly, like they could depress anyone beyond redemption. Mo Qishan subtly moved a little bit away, his figure blocking Mo Baichuan's view quite efficiently. So now, Only he could see that smile. Mo Baichuan clenched his fists. Uncle Six, you're going to regret this. Mo Qishan turned again to Enai Yang, hooking his lips. Yang, will you make me regret this? Of course not. Enai Yang answered casually, as she pierced the last golden needle into Mo Hudi's Baihui acupoint. The needle just went in, and immediately turned black. At the same time, Mo Hudi, who was lying on the bed, slowly opened her eyes. Shout-I! Both Mo Fuhai and Grandma Mo exclaimed in unison. Grandma and Grandpa, Mo Hudi spoke in a weak voice. What happened to me? Grandma Mo was overwhelmed with joy and started to cry. It's all right, Shout-I, you're all right now. Mo Baichuan was stunned. Was this a coincidence, or just pure luck? Aside from her beauty, how could Enai Yang possibly save people's lives? Mo Qishan glanced at Mo Baichuan, then walked over to Enai Yang. Yang, thank you. You're welcome. Enai Yang gave the prescription she had written to Mo Baichuan. According to this prescription, prepare the medicine, once a day, continuous for 3 months, Shout-I will be fully healed. Mo Qishan took the prescription. Okay. Grandma Mo walked over, holding Enai Yang's hand. She was so overwhelmed with emotions that she didn't know what she was supposed to say. Mo Qishan gently joked. Mom, you're going to scare Yang. I'm just too happy, too excited. Grandma Mo choked back her tears. Little divine Dr. Yang, I can't thank you enough. Thank you. Chapter 170. Uncle and Nephew Standoff, Believe in Yang_5. Enai Yang smiled slightly. Madam, you don't need to do this, it's all part of a doctor's duty. Mo Baichuan stood by, with a very complicated look on his face. Now he finally understood that Enai Yang's medical skills were genuine. Her desire to be close to him was also real. Perhaps, from the very beginning, she was seeking an opportunity through curing Mo Hudi, to gain his recognition. This game she was playing, it was much bigger than he thought. Old Madame Mo turned her gaze to Mo Baichuan. Chuan, aren't you going to apologize to Yang? I will never apologize to this kind of woman. Mo Baichuan left angrily after giving Enai Yang a glance. On the side, Mo Qishan's eyes flashed dangerously, but it disappeared quickly. Once she confirmed that Mo Hudi was out of danger, Enai Yang left a small bottle of pills, and proposed to leave. Old Madame Mo said, I will have the driver take you. Mo Qishan picked up his coat with a smile. I will take Yang home. Enai Yang smiled and said, Then I have to trouble brother Mo. This was her chance to thank Mo Qishan alone. To thank him for his trust and protection. Mo Baichuan looked at Enai Yang, and all that was left in his eyes were 4 words. Putting on a show. She was deliberately getting close to Mo Qishan just to make him jealous. Otherwise, she would have never taken an interest in Mo Qishan, a man who has never achieved anything. Mo Qishan, who had never achieved anything and also had simple thinking, was being used by Enai Yang. Although he wanted to pull Mo Qishan out of the mud, if Mo Qishan didn't want to stand up but instead chose to roll in the mud, it wasn't surprising that Zhao Jingrong had broken off their engagement. He deserved it. Mo Qishan and Enai Yang walked shoulder to shoulder towards the downstairs, followed by old Madame Mo and Mo Fuhai. As they walked down the stairs, they saw the elegantly dressed Zheng Xianjing walking in from the outside. As soon as Zheng Xianjing saw Enai Yang, her smile froze on her face, followed by an expression of thick sarcasm. How dare Enai Yang, who nearly killed Mo Hudi, show her face here? Didn't she have any shame? Zheng Xianjing steadied her heart and walked up to the group, greeting them politely. Grandfather Mo, Grandma Mo, 6th Uncle Mo. When old Madame Mo saw Zheng Xianjing, her smile was nowhere to be seen. She only curtly replied, Xianjing is here. If it weren't for Zheng Xianjing's meddling 3 days ago, Mo Hudi wouldn't have suffered, nor come close to death. What on earth is going on? Zheng Xianjing began to sweat nervously. By all rights, she had saved Mo Hudi's life. Old Madame Mo shouldn't react this way. What went wrong? Just yesterday afternoon, old Madame Mo had sent her a thank you gift. No, she had to shift the blame onto Enai Yang. Zheng Xianjing looked at Enai Yang and laughed. Little divine doctor, why have you come again? Do you think Grandfather Mo and Grandma Mo are easy to fool? Do you know 3 days ago, you nearly killed Xiao Dai? If not for her timely intervention, Mo Hudy would already be dead. Old Madame Mo turned her gaze to Zheng Xianjing. Xianjing, some issues should be left alone after a new chapter has begun. I didn't want to bring this up, but since you did, it's necessary that I say this. You who don't even understand the basic medical knowledge should refrain from acting as if you know everything. Otherwise, innocent people will be affected. Also, Yang Yang is now a benefactor to our Mo family, so I hope you show her more respect in the future. If it wasn't for the fact that Zheng Xianjing was Zheng's granddaughter, old Madame Mo would definitely have held her responsible. Upon hearing this, Zheng Xianjing visibly panicked. What did old Madame Mo mean? What did she mean by implicating innocent people? What did she mean by Enai Yang being the benefactor of the Mo family? After a while, Zheng Xianjing finally found her voice. Grandma Mo, what happened to Xiao Dai? Old Madame Mo snorted coldly. Thanks to you, Xiao Dai hasn't died yet. Having said that, old Madame Mo walked right past Zheng Xianjing. Zheng Xianjing's face turned pale. What on earth had happened? Having seen Enai Yang to the door, Mo Qishan said, Okay Dad Mom, you can go back to your room now. I'll take care of Yang Yang. After Mo Fuhai and old Madame Mo advised them to be careful, they turned and went back to their room. In a blink of an eye, only Mo Qishan and Enai Yang remained in the air. Mo Qishan then said, Yang Yang, wait for me here for a moment while I fetch the car. Chapter 171. Uncle and nephew standoff. Believe in Yang Yang _6. Okay. Enai Yang nodded. Shortly after, Mo Qishan pushed over a Phoenix-branded bicycle. Yang Yang, don't look at me as Mo Baichuan's uncle. Actually, in everyone's eyes, I'm nothing but a wastrel who only knows indulgences, resented by all for being mediocre. Every person in my family is more accomplished than me. Even my fiancé has broken off our engagement because of this. I don't even have my own car at home. If you mind, I can drive one of the family's cars. Enai Yang leaned to sit on the bike's back seat, smiling. It's alright, a bicycle is pretty good. After her rebirth, she had cycled almost daily, yet had never tried the back seat. Yang Yang, Mo Qishan continued, knowing that I'm a wastrel despised by everyone, would you still be willing to be friends with me? Enai Yang slightly smiled, responding, Why wouldn't I? I'm friends with you because of who you are, not your status. When she first met Mo Qishan, Enai Yang didn't know about his status. Status is not important. All she needed to know was that Mo Qishan was a person worth trusting. Hearing this, Mo Qishan's mouth traced into a smile. Then let's get going. Hold on tight, Yang Yang. The moment he finished speaking, Mo Qishan pedaled forward, and the bicycle shot off like an arrow that left the bowstring. Enai Yang never knew that a bicycle could be ridden so fast, and she was so frightened that she tightly clutched the corner of Mo Qishan's clothes. There was a gust of fresh wind carrying a mild scent of tobacco. In a short while they reached Jinghua village. The bike was going too fast. Before the villagers could make out who was on the back seat, the bike had already disappeared from their sight. Wasn't that Yang Yang just now? It looked a bit like her. Could the guy pedaling the bike be Yang Yang's boyfriend? He looks rather handsome. That lad does indeed seem spirited, but he was riding so fast, I didn't get a good look. I was thinking of introducing Yang Yang to my nephew last time, but it looks like I won't get the chance now. I was planning to introduce Yang Yang to my baby brother. Such a pity. Although the relationships between men and women at that time were not completely liberal, it was still acceptable for boyfriends and girlfriends to date normally, as long as they weren't behaving indecently and kissing or cuddling in public places. As they approached the Enai family's house, Mo Qishan stopped the bike. Yang Yang, you should hurry home. In response, Enai Yang said, Let's ride over, and you can have a cup of tea before leaving. Aren't you scared your mom will misunderstand? Mo Qishan looked at her surprisingly. Happiness came so fast that he was a bit overwhelmed. Enai Yang laughed. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. What's so frightening about this? So Mo Qishan didn't refuse any further and rode the bike in. Enai Tsuehua and Enai Qingui were having a conversation in the courtyard. Seeing someone coming, they both looked in that direction. and Ai Chenggui's first reaction was, my goodness, this lad is handsome. He looked like an attractive actor fresh off the TV screens. Xiaomo. And Ai Cuehua looked surprised at Mo Qishan. Although she had only met Mo Qishan once, she deeply remembered his face because at that time, she had thought of taking Mo Qishan as her son-in-law. Hello, Auntie. Mo Qishan greeted politely, and Ai Yang hopped off the back seat of the bike. Brother Mo, this is Auntie and I. Hello, Auntie and I. And Ai Chenggui smiled. Hello. Xiaomo, come on in and sit. And Ai Cuehua enthusiastically ushered Mo Qishan into the living room. And Ai Yang took out some snacks from her house to entertain Mo Qishan. Brother Mo, don't be shy. Eat whatever you want. Looking at the table full of snacks, Mo Qishan was indeed not shy and immediately peeled a piece of candy. It was quite sweet. Brother Mo, have some tea. And Ai Yang then handed over a hot cup of tea. Mo Qishan stood up immediately, accepting the cup with both hands. Yang, you don't need to go through all the trouble, we'll be leaving shortly. And Ai Yang smiled. It's okay, it's just a cup of tea. Mo Qishan took a cautious sip of the green tea. The tea had a strong aroma, yet it was sweet. The taste was excellent. A while later, a bang-bang sound came through the air. Mo Qishan looked up in confusion. What's that noise? And Ai Yang explained. That's my mom pounding aloe vera. Pounding aloe vera? And Ai Yang laughed. Come on, Brother Mo, let me show you. Mo Qishan followed Ai Yang's steps into the courtyard. There, they saw Ai Cuehua holding a large mallet, pounding something in a stone mortar. Inside the mortar was a pale green transparent liquid, emitting a faint fragrance. Chapter 172. Uncle and Nephew Standoff. Believe in Yang_7 and Ai Cuehua is drenched in sweat. Mo Qishan rolls up his sleeves, revealing a robust and powerful wrist, approaches Ai Cuehua. Auntie, let me do it. Ai Cuehua paused for a moment, then smiled. No need, you're our guest. We can't have you do this. Mo Qishan said. It's fine, Auntie, I needed some exercise anyway. Without waiting for Cuehua to respond, he grabs the pestle from her and starts pounding. The strength of a man was far greater than that of a woman. The bulky wooden pestle seemed weightless in Mo Qishan's hands. It seems that having a man in the house does have its advantages. Ai Cuehua watches the young man before her, a satisfied expression in her eyes. Yang, you stay here and chat with Xiaoma. We'll go check on Yunyan. All right, Mum, you go. Ai Yang nods in agreement. Mo Qishan looks up at Ai Yang. Yang, what are you using this mashed aloe for? Ai Yang responds, for skincare products. Skincare products. Mo Qishan pondered for a moment, then continued. So do you do this every day? Ai Yang nods, almost. Sounds exhausting. Manual labor like this isn't suited for a girl like you. Mo Qishan added. Have you ever considered buying a blender? It could mash up all these aloes directly. Ai Yang, of course, had thought about this before. Currently, the market for aloe vera gel and facial cleanser was booming. Fresh aloe juice was needed almost every day. If she continued to manually mash the aloes, it would not only drain her physical strength, but also waste time. However, because technology at this time was not well developed, many advanced machines needed to be imported from abroad. Imported products were not only expensive but also scarce. Typically, customers had to pre-order from the seller. Moreover, the inconvenient transportation and poor economy significantly restricted the circulation of goods. It was not easy for ordinary people to purchase everyday goods. Even for Ai Yang, she had yet to find a way to buy a blender. Mo Qishan seemed to understand Ai Yang's predicament. He then said, I happen to have a friend who deals with these imported machines. I can ask him for you. Really? Ai Yang looked up in surprise, a flicker of joy in her eyes. Yes. Mo Qishan nodded. Why would I lie to you? Thank you so much, Brother Mo. Ai Yang said if indeed Mo Qishan could help her find a solution, it would be a massive help for her. Mo Qishan laughed and replied, It's just a matter of a phone call. No need to thank me. Mo Qishan pounded the aloe nonstop without appearing to get tired. Even after a long period, There wasn't a single drop of sweat on his forehead. And I Yang tried to take over, but was refused by Mo Chishan. He couldn't possibly stand by while a frail girl did such heavy work. His hands gripped the wooden pestle. Due to his excessive force, the veins on the back of his hands stood out. His hands were well-proportioned and muscular, any hand fetishist's dream. In a short while, the aloe was pounded into a thick paste. And I Yang began to laugh. Brother Mo, that's enough. That's enough? Mo Chishan looked stunned. He thought he was supposed to continue until nightfall. If he had known this, he would have pounded slower. Mo Chishan puts down the pestle. Are you sure this is enough? Yes, and I Yang nods. It's enough, thank you for your hard work today, Brother Mo. Mo Chishan smiles, saying, It wasn't tiring at all, consider it my daily workout. It was already in the afternoon. After resting at the Ni family residence for a bit, Mo Chishan decided to take his leave. And I Yang said, It's already late. Why don't you stay for dinner, Brother Mo? Despite his desire to stay, Mo Chishan refused diplomatically. How could he impose himself on a family he had visited for only the second time? What if he left a frivolous impression on Ni Yang and Ni Tsuehua? He wanted to be perceived as a well-mannered young man. Mo Chishan was also a pragmatic person. On his way home, he stopped by the village's local store and bought some cigarettes and candies. These items altogether cost him 50 yuan, which made the store owner grin from ear to ear. 50 yuan. Normally, it would take him 10 days to sell this much. This young man was incredibly generous, like the god of wealth reincarnated. Young man, you seem unfamiliar. Are you related to someone in the village? The store owner asked. Old man, I'm a friend of Ni Yang. The store owner nods his head. Oh, you're a friend of Yang Yang. Wait a minute, young man. With a puzzled expression, Mo Chishan pauses. The store owner grabbed a handful of candies and shoved them into Mo Chishan's hands. Yang Yang is a good girl who has been very helpful to all of us. If he had known earlier that this young man was a friend of Ni Yang, he would have given him a discount. After leaving the store, if Mo Chishan saw a man, he would offer a cigarette. If he encountered a woman or a child, he would give out candies. All along the way, he gained praises from the villagers. A few children recognized Mo Chishan. Brother Mo, we remember you. Are you here to see Sister Ni Yang? Mo Chishan squats down and ruffles their hair. I remember you too. You're Penghu, Xiaohua, and Gooden, right? Yes. Brother Mo, you're so smart. Hence, besides the beautiful Sister Ni Yang, a handsome Brother Mo was added into the children's hearts. After Mo Huti was out of danger, Mo Fuhai and Madame Mo finally found some time to visit Li Xianxian in the hospital. However, the elderly couple didn't manage to see Li Xianxian. They only saw the police officers standing guard outside the ICU ward. Li Xianxian was in critical condition due to her deep wounds. Mo Fuhai approaches one of the officers. Officer, how is the investigation into the divine doctor of Jiangnan going? Our Xiaodai had no grievance with him. He couldn't possibly harm Xiaodai without a reason. There must be someone behind all of this. Chapter 173. Mr. Mog, humble and mysterious, invites guests to dinner. _1 Mo Fuhai was no fool. He knew that there were still many twists and turns to this issue that needed to be unraveled. They had never seen the divine doctor from Jiangnan. It was impossible for him to deliberately prescribe the wrong medication to Mo Huti. Moreover, the divine doctor had no reason to ruin his lifelong reputation. After all, the title of divine doctor is not easily attained in a short time, and his current honor was hard-won. The only person related to the whole incident about Mo Huti was Li Xianxian. Mo Fuhai couldn't believe that Li Xianxian had no fault in it as well. The officer looked at the file in his hands and said, Mr. Mo, don't worry, we will thoroughly investigate this matter. According to our current investigation, the suspect's full name is Fang Zhizhong, from Dongwu City, and he's 61 years old this year. Fang Zhizhong? At these words, both Mrs. Mo and Mo Fuhai were stunned. Mrs. Mo suddenly grabbed the officer's hand, her emotions out of control. What did you say his name is? Fang Zhizhong. Mo Fuhai continued. Fang as in square, Zhi as in wisdom, and Zhong as in middle? Yes. Officer nodded. Suppressing the shock in his heart, Mo Fuhai asked, "Does he have any other family members?" "No." The officer shook his head. The suspect, Fang Zhizhong, had a son, but unfortunately he died in a car accident 10 years ago. "It's him." Mrs. Mo burst into tears. "It's him. He came for revenge." Mo Fuhai's expression also darkened. No wonder, no wonder." Seeing the old couple's reactions, the police asked, "What's going on?" Mo Fuhai sighed. "It's all old history. We didn't think that he would lie in wait until now because of this." He raced the story. 10 years ago on a stormy night, Mo Hudi's parents had a car crash with a black car on their way home. Mo Hudi's parents and the driver of the black car were killed on the spot. That black car driver's father was Fang Zhizhong. No wonder the divine doctor from Jiangnan refuses service to people surnamed Mo and Yang. Because Mo Hudi's father's surname was Yang. No wonder the divine doctor never reveals his face. So that was the reason. After hearing this, the two officers also sighed. "Does Li Xianxian know about the grudges and grievances between Fang Zhizhong and your Mo family?" The police continued to ask. "Or does anyone else know about this?" If Li Xianxian knew about this, then it could be inferred that Li Xianxian deliberately told the Jiangnan divine doctor about it. If this is the case, then the divine doctor is the principal culprit, and Li Xianxian would be the accomplice. Mo Fuhai shook his head. "Apart from Xianxian, no one in Beijing knows about it. We moved to Beijing after the incident happened." The Mo family's ancestral home, in fact, was in Jiangnan too, and Li Xianxian was just a 10-year-old child at that time. How could she possibly know about these things? Most importantly, the incident was taboo in the Mo family. The people who knew about it kept it among themselves, so no one would talk about it. Li Xianxian couldn't possibly foresee this. "Could it be that someone in your family talked about this?" the officer continued to ask. "That should not be it," Mo Fuhai replied. "This incident is taboo in our Mo's family, no one dares to mention it generally. With the case progression till now, it could basically be closed as malicious revenge because the only main suspect is already dead. But for the sake of caution, the police wouldn't easily close the case." Mrs. Mo clutched her face and sobbed. "We should have suspected it earlier when he said that he would not treat people with Mo and Yang surnames. We should have been on guard then. Poor Xianxian got implicated." Mo Fuhai sighed. "Xianxian, the child, wasn't at fault. The main responsibility is on us. We were careless." The police left the hospital after taking their statements. Mo Fuhai and Mrs. Mo found Li Xianxian's chief doctor. "Dr. Wang, how is Xianxian now?" Dr. Wang looked very serious. "The patient's current situation is very critical. Her will to survive is very weak. Whether she will wake up or not depends on her fate." Mrs. Mo continued. "Can we go in and see her now?" The doctor shook his head. "Not yet, she needs to be transferred to the general ward after a week. Only then can her family visit." You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.